All right. Well, hey, welcome to the show before the show, part 2, where I check to make sure everything's working. YouTube says the stream quality is excellent, but you let me know, because I know that can be a lie sometimes, and I would hate to be caught lying to you on the holiest of pre-weeks to a holy day. Does it make any sense? That didn't make any sense.
On the holiest of days, the Friday leading to a 3-day weekend.
Exactly. How sacred this day is. Let us honor it. But guys, I'm here with a knife because we're going to be opening up packs of Ravnica Remastered. These are collector edition packs. We've been wanting to open these for a while, but we enjoy doing these on screen so we can share our collective disappointment at the lack of a mana crypt or one ring. I don't know. I bought another one ring because I definitely didn't pull one, but it wasn't necessary. It was very much like an art decision on my end. But do let me know if the stream quality is out of whack. Again, excuse the setup for whatever happened. I have a modern laptop with the top end chip and the nation's fastest internet, presumably. So I really thought that I could stream better quality video to you guys. But for some reason, YouTube it wants me to be stuck at 1080p. So, que sera. Que sera. That's all I have to say. But,
Indeed.
Oh, what's up, Will?
Indeed, que sera, que sera. Also, everybody, let me know, how did you feel with the energy of Patrick just holding me, or how did you feel with the energy of Patrick starting off the stream with, so I'm here with a knife, holding a knife up like that? I don't know why, but that just hit really different.
Yeah, this is a different kind of stream today, people. But no, I just want to get the plastic off this sucker. So guys, if you haven't noticed from the title of this video, as it went up the other day and just a few seconds ago, we're going to talk about why green sucks. So, is it slightly rage bait? Maybe, but it's also kind of a fact in concerns to people trying to play the game of Commander competitively. Green is in a interesting spot, let's say. And this is a topic that Will and I came up with for our Untapped podcast segment. That's what this is. Show before the show territory here. So we'll get into the whole rigmarole of running this program in a second. But Untapped, and it was a while ago. And not much has changed by way from set to set for green since we came up with this topic. So the question at least still holds true for us. How can we improve green? Like what is missing? So in my firm opinion, I won't speak for Will, green is the weakest of the 5 colors when it comes to CDH. You'll notice that as soon as you start splashing other colors, you'll see less and less green in your decks. That's just how it is, at least in a competitive setting. So we can sort of make today a wish list of what we'd like to see in 2024, but we also have a series of talking points we'll be discussing as to why green sucks, at least in our firm opinions, and as to how it could improve in the future. But Will, any thoughts going into this one?
Well, I can bring up the quick thing that we talked about with the community poll, because a lot of people were fervently against us saying that green sucks. And I want to point out, we're talking in CDH, non-casual. In regular EDH, green is actually a pretty good color because you can grind value, get a bunch of greedy setups, and then those like high CMC creatures that don't immediately win the game are actually worth it in casual, but they're not worth it in CDH. But yeah, in CDH, you kind of don't want any of what green's offering.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate because we're going to get into it as we discuss topics here. Specifically, I think I discuss it in outlets and payoffs, because we're trying to look at green in a vacuum. Like, what cards in green make you want to go that direction? Like, what is there outside of maybe a partner pairing or a specific commander that just happens to be in that color identity? What green cards make you want to play green, at least in a competitive setting? Again, it's always through the monocle of a competitive lens. Would you say that about mono red, minus the key 4 cards, I think, for CDH.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
kind of agree with that. Red used to be in like a pretty bad place where the two worst colors. I think it was in when Flash Hulk was back in the meta
Mm-hmm.
before Dockside, before Breach. Red was just kind of unplayable to some extent, and so was White back then because White could give you a lot of stacks pieces, but the issue was they only had like 1 to 2 copies of each piece. Because if you wanted Rule of Law, it was literally Rule of Law and Eidolon of Rhetoric, and that was it. But now,
Yeah.
if you want a Rule of Law, there's like 5 or 6 Rule of Laws that you can run. Um, so back like way back when Red didn't have its 4 really good cards right now, or just its really good cards right now, it was kind of in the exact same situation. Green just needs a Dockside or a Breach to kind of get back in there.
Yeah, what are the really good cards in red? The 4 key ones you're talking about? You're talking about Underworld Breach, Dockside Extortionist, and what? Those are the two
I think it
main
would
ones.
be Gamble is probably another one. Um,
Tutors don't
I
make me
don't.
go into colors unless it's black. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, REB and Pyroblast, are we going to count that as one thing? What are the big 4 Dragon Bear? Let's just start there for you. And as a matter of fact, while we're in the show before the show territory, why don't we talk about the 4 best cards of each color, right? Let's talk about them in Wooburg order. What do you think? What do you think are the 4 best cards for each color? Wooburg order. Um,
White is actually pretty easy.
right,
Um,
and that goes for you first, obviously, Will. And if you're tuning in late, again, sorry about the previous stream. Tried to do something new. We should be streaming on Twitch in the not too distant future, but my computer, it just imploded. So new stream, more or less the same time, same us. Will, what do you think are the 4 best cards in each color in Wooburg order, starting with white, obviously?
so to start with White, Esper Sentinel, Granite Magistrate, Archon of Emeria, and Silence. No question about that.
Savine's Reclamation didn't make your list, huh?
Savine's Reclamation is good, but literally every single White deck runs these cards, with the only exception being Archon of Emeria. But Archon of Emeria is like for those harder decks.
I
But
guess
every White deck runs the other 3.
I'd maybe say the same things. We can do this in turn. I would say the same things, except I'd switch out Archon of Emeria for Savine's Reclamation. I do think that a lot more decks do rely on Savine's to help conclude games. I think it's one of those things that's just a good finisher, whereas Archon of Emeria is the opposite. It's a good way to stop people from winning, period.
What? I would say White gets its power with how little people want to see you play your cards. People don't want to see Drannith. People don't want to see Silence. People don't want to see Esper Sentinel. I feel like people are fine with seeing Sabine's Reclamation.
Oh shoot, Sean, I was gonna show you. I bought this, I think last holiday season. I bought this at Uniqlo, and it's way warmer than you think. I don't. It's like some sort of faux fur, but it's super super warm. Like I can get away with this in 40-degree weather in just this. But yeah, Will, blue, hit me. Teferi's
Uh,
Protection. I'm sorry, and I don't mean to exclude you guys. For white, Jim says Teferi's Protection. I think that Teferi's Protection probably gets little use in a CDH setting. I think that people will probably shift to Everybody Lives, if anything, I guess is like the utility for that kind of effect. Do you know what I'm saying? Although it's not the same quite. I would say Everybody Lives is like the CDH equivalent of a Teferi's Protection. The only issue is it's 3 CMC, and that it's kind of generally regarded as a lot of mana to hold up turn to turn. But I don't know your thoughts on that, Will.
uh, yeah, I kind of agree with that. There's better options than Teferi's for kind of anything you'd want in White. There's things that give you protection, like even I was gonna say like Veil of Summers does a similar job, but Veil of Summers is in green, not in white.
Mm-hmm.
But
All right,
yeah,
hit
there's
us up.
just better protection pieces and better like interaction. Everybody Lives, I do kind of prefer.
Everybody poops. I'm going to pin that same question for you guys to respond to. So if you're tuning in late, what do you think are the 4 best cards of each color? And before, Dragon Bear, I'm going to wait till we get to red and then I'll read over your comment. But Will, blue, what do you think?
Mystic Study, sorry, Mystic Remora, Rhystic Study, Force of Will, and then probably Thoracle.
Probably Thoracle. Bam. Like if you agree with Will, because I do. I think that's pretty much what I would say too. Force of Will is way up there. I'm actually really partial to all the free counter spells. I think they're all quite good. You can kind of bundle them all together, but that is cheating. I think Mindbreak Trap is really fantastic late game. I think Force of Will is good at any point of the game. The two draw engines you referred to, though, are staples. I think they're some of the highest played enchantments in the game in Commander, whether casual or competitive. You should just play them. They're very good. And so far as no, I can't disagree with any of those choices.
The one thing I will,
Thassa's Oracle is kind of a boring choice, but it's like an obvious choice. You know,
yeah,
in a
the only reason,
vacuum, it still
the only reason I
wins.
wouldn't go for it is that it's more of a Dimir card than a blue card.
Right, exactly. But you can like paradigm shift. There are things you can leveler. You can do something. You can do anything to win. It's so damn good. I guess the only other thing, you know, you could point at, it's a combo piece as well, but you know, Brain Freeze, it's not doing exactly the same thing, but Brain Freeze is functionally helping you work towards a win, while Thassa's Oracle is the win. So far as like just a good utility blue spell though, outside of that, it has so many good ones. If you look at any CDH list, a majority of the deck, if it incorporates blue, it's going to be like 38 to 45% blue, if not more. You know, I might be modest with those numbers because generally speaking, blue packs the best forms of interaction, not necessarily removal, but interaction on the stack. So, you know, when you have that level of control, players like to incorporate that in their decks. And certainly the best free spells in, so far as, you know, EDH is concerned, the best free spells.
Do also want to point out, because I thought about it a little bit more, if you want to remove Thoracle from the list, and maybe even if you want to remove Force of Will from the list, I would add Chain of Vapor. Because Chain of
Yeah,
Vapor is debatably the best piece of removal in the game because you can also use it to your own benefit.
right. But then now we have Gladriel's Dismissal, but Chain of Vapor hits more things. Yeah, it's good. You know what? Fine. So because Thassa's Oracle, as Will was saying, is more of a Dimir card in actuality, I would say that Chain of Vapor makes a good alternative in that same spot. But you guys let us know what your favorite blue cards are if they're different from us. Surprise, Will didn't mention Sakazuki. He's clearly top tier blue. Yeah, exactly. Or Blue Croc. Like the suckers like us, Sean. Playing started Croc still. Impel down package for life. So moving on, we've got what? Black? I don't know.
Uh,
Should we just say? Can I say
yeah,
them? Demonic
yeah, you can
Tutor,
do black if you want, but I
Vampiric
also wanted to
Tutor.
go for one thing because when you're saying about Rhystic Study and Mystic Remora, I do agree that pretty much every deck plays them. The only two decks that I don't play Rhystic and Mystic in to some extent, I don't play Rhystic Study in my Xur deck because it's too
Mm,
slow.
yeah.
I don't play either in my Gale deck because I literally can't.
Right. Well, that's saving money, sir, on your Ristic studies. No Ristic
Yeah.
tax for you, or anyone else for that matter. But yeah, so far as Black is concerned, I feel like you could just, well, look, ad nauseum. Let's just go in alphabetical order. Ad nauseum, Demonic Tutor, Imperial Seal, Vampiric Tutor. Those are the four best in Black. Am I wrong? It's a 99 card singleton game. Anything you can do to smooth out your game, you're gonna want to do that. Although you could and probably should bundle those tutors together. I would say Toxic Deluge is really fantastic. A lot of people have come off of that card, but it's been a staple for a very long time. It should remain one, especially
Dark Ritual
now.
is quite good as well.
Dark Ritual is good too, and Cabal Ritual. There's so many good cards in Black. Black is a really good support color as well. And if we're gonna say Thassa's Oracle asterisk for blue, you could say Demonic Consultation or moreover Tainted Pack. I like Tainted Pack quite a bit. There's oftentimes they'll just use Tainted Pack as a tutor. Like it's just functionally the same thing.
Agreed.
Um, yeah. And Will, what would you say? Black. What would you say are the four best cards in Black? If not, just say tutors and ad
So
nauseum.
Demonic Tutor, Dark Ritual, Opposition Agent, and either Reanimate or Ad Nauseum. one like some kind of reanimate or ad nauseum is what I would probably say. And the reason why is with all the
Into
tutors, Diabolic Intent, Imperial Seal, and even Vampire Tutor are a little bit
yeah,
slow, but Demonic Tutor is just the fastest of the fast. Dark Ritual makes it into
yeah.
every single black deck except for the Orzhov ones because sometimes Orzhov doesn't care about ramp. And
Hmm.
Opposition Agent is just brutal.
Right, and Mateus just said opposition agent is great as well as bowmasters,
Bowmasters,
and I
yeah.
think we can kind of bundle that maybe the tutors into one lot, and I definitely agree. And this is why I was saying toxic deluge is so important these days. There's just and this is why another reason why green is in a really rough spot is the fact that it has creature removal, but a lot of it is reliant on the thing being a flyer or you controlling a thing and that thing being bigger than the other thing. Fortunately, in Orcish Bowmaster's case, it's the truth. It's generally bigger. But you, well, we'll get to it when we get to it. Let me see if we covered any colors that people are talking about. No Ristic and Jensen Luris either. Yeah, that would be true. Hello, all. I have come to see you all shake your fist at the Grinch's color. Mateus, don't worry. We'll be shaking fist more than that potentially. I might fist an elf. That's a weird thing to say. I mean, I'm looking at her right now. God, love this girl. Um, John Prodigo. I want to go over your comment really quick because I realized I ignored it. Green and CDH used to give explosive starts and weird hate pieces, and now red has solidly taken those roles, especially in this post-Dockside world. Yeah, that's true. And Dragon Bear, just so I don't forget it, your 4 favorite for red are Underworld Breach, Dockside Extortionist, Jessica's Will, Gamble Pyroblast from what I've seen. Okay. And we're on red now. So, Will, what are your 4 favorites?
Those are pretty accurate on there. The only one that I might change is Jessica's Will to potentially a Braid. Just because Jessica's Will is played in a lot of decks, but a Braid makes or breaks games a little bit better because it's such a diverse removal piece.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with those picks, and that's just kind of more of a preference thing on my side.
I'm launching a poll for you guys too as well, so that we can. It's the same thing that's in our community post, except it's a little bit more narrow in its scope, so we don't ruffle as many feathers. I will be deferring to some of the comments here, though. I do find them entertaining. And if you are tuning in because of that community post, let me know. I'd be curious to find out. But so far as red is concerned, yeah, more or less the same. Underworld Breach, Dockside Extortionist. Jessica's Will is fine. I feel like it's a little sluggish sometimes. It's really good in Rograk and Tevesh, but you either want it really early game in, like, again, Rograk Tevesh, or I guess Jessica Isamaru, or what Elgin was playing a little while ago. Like, it would be good in there because you have your commander out early.
Yoshimaru.
Yoshimaru. So far as other red cards that I would like defer to, I think that the Pyro Red Elemental Blast, yes, make the cut. And if I were gonna pick a 4th one in the spot, it's a new one and it's kind of a cool. Maybe it's not.
Justice.
I do like Justice of Zoyoa a lot. It's really flexible removal. It's 1 mana, right? Wait up.
It's 2. It's the same as a Braid, but it doesn't
Uh,
have a limit on the creature that it can hit, and it gets rid of the One Ring.
well, it's not just creatures though either, right? It's pretty
It's
solid.
creatures and artifacts.
Here, I'm gonna say this just because I want more people to be playing it. But this is a new uncommon. Zoyoa's Justice. Yes,
Yeah.
it's kind of like Tybalt's Trickery-ish in that there is a random thing that could occur. They get to discover. I'm totally fine with that if it means eliminating the threat. And in this current meta, there's so many creature-based threats and artifact-based threats. Enchantments are seldom often the problem. They are just nuisances, although there are certain stacks pieces that are enchantment-based. So don't get it twisted. I hear you. But yeah, I'll say that's my 4th favorite for red right now. Not necessarily a reason to go with that color, but it is quite good interaction in that color. And so far as green is concerned, Will, what are your favorite green cards? And I bet you that they're 5+ years old.
Yeah, sadly, so I was looking through a couple green decks to try to get an idea of the green cards that I really liked. And The unfortunate thing is even my favorite green cards feel very lackluster. So Veil of Summer, Carpet of Flowers, Sylvan Library, and Collector Oof. Those are the four best green
Mm,
cards in my opinion.
mm-hmm.
And the reason why that feels really sad is Carpet of Flowers is a color reliant effect. Collector Oof is Collector Oof. It's a good card, but it's like it feels horrible when you compare it to something like Drannith Magistrate. Veil of Summers is another silence, but it's kind of worse silence, but it's another silence. And then Sylvan Library is just a okay draw effect.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you use Sylvan Library, if you're not me personally, if I lay down a Sylvan Library early, I'm gonna take as much life as I'm allowed. Particularly if I'm not in Golgari, or if I'm not in any color or with a leader that cares about life. I'll take all the damage and take all the draw because that's as good as draw gets in green. People say green is good at drawing, but it's so situationally dependent. It's rarely ever as effective as any of the other colors outside of white. But you're not really playing white unless you're playing Oswald, am I right? So yeah. So I'd say Sylvan Library. This is still show before the show. We need to pick this up, I guess. But I would say Sylvan Library. I would say Noxious Revival is also really good. I would say Carpet of Flowers, and I would say the Veils. And you know what? Legolas's quick reflexes could probably slot in there somewhere, but it's yet to be determined. Veil of specifically Autumn Veil is fine, but Veil of Summer is like hyper playable. And if you're in other colors, maybe just maybe you only splash Veil of Summer, right? Just maybe you only splash Veil of Summer. It is quite good, the effect of making it so your shit can't be countered by blue spells. It's almost like running a silence, right? You'll obviously have to suffer other forms of interaction, mind you. But yeah, feel free to respond to the pinned comment during the course of this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. And I'm going to read off some of the colors that I'm seeing here. So Devin over at Pubstomp MTG, you should check out his channel, says Grand Abolisher, Ranger Captain of Eos, Esper Sentinel in white. Nothing we selected, interestingly enough. So
we
yeah,
said Esper Sentinel.
we did.
We
Yes,
got the Esper Sentinel right.
yes, we did. For blue, Rhystic Study, Fierce Guardianship, Force of Will, Mystic Remora. Fierce Guardianship, I could see you saying that. We said Chain of Vapor, between that and Thassa's Oracle, collectively. Black is Vamp Tutor, Demonic Tutor, Necropotence Ad Nauseam, Orcish Bowmasters. So we just threw 5 out there.
Yeah, I wouldn't even add Adnos to that list, and debatably not even Necropotence, just because Necropotence you either build around it or it's just a slow refill your hand, and Ad Nauseam doesn't go in every deck because you can't use it too well if you have high CMC stuff or too much high CMC stuff.
Yeah, Necropotence is way better than the freaking library, though. Yeah. Way better than Sylvan Library. You wouldn't build a list for Sylvan Library, but
Esper Sentinel is better than Sylvan Library. You're drawing 3 cards, or you're drawing an extra 2 every turn off of Esper Sentinel usually.
Right,
so
right, or to the detriment of your opponent, having them pay 1 mana to be off of X amount of plays. Like, it's so good. Mind you, it is a forced draw though. You can lose to Esper Sentinel in very niche situations, but it is a forced draw. Dockside Extortion, Underworld Breach, Deflecting Swat, Wheel of Fortune, Dockside again. Yes. I like D-SWAT a lot. I would never put Wheel of Fortune on a list, though. Sorry, Devin. I don't believe in the strength of wheels. I'd like to reinvent the wheel. I want single-sided wheels.
Patrick, the power of communism. You saw it at work.
No, shut up. Stop with your Zada. It was good. It actually worked. And then green, Veil of Summer, Finale of Devastation, Birds of Paradise, Worldly Tutor, and Food Chain. Okay, yeah, I can agree with those. Green is only good in casual because nobody can touch the sacred lands people ramp into. And on that note, why don't we push into our video today? Welcome to Local Game Group, guys. I'm Patrick Marlette, your host, and of course I'm joined by co-host Will. Hey, Will.
So
I raise you up. If you're joining,
I can stand on high.
Yes, so I can step in forest. Yeah. So today we're going to be discussing why green sucks. And it does. You can argue me, but it does. And how we could potentially fix it. So I want to have a more positive spin on today's episode. This is Untapped, the TCG Podcast. We will be talking quite a bit today, so if you enjoy talking with us, feel free to in the comment section. Obviously, we do these live for the participatory experience, so if you enjoy partaking in the conversation, feel free to do so when this releases as a VOD, or if you're here during the live and want to add your 2 cents, that's why I'm running a poll. That's why I've pinned a question for you guys, and of course, that's why you've tuned in. I'm going to go ahead and look over your comments as we go through today. I have a poll going up right now that is the same poll within our community post that is attracting quite a lot of ire, as to be expected, but that's okay. I think the first thing we need to do is just preface, as we did already, that we're looking at this from the lens of CDH players. Will does happen to play casual commander as well. Feels odd having to distinguish it that way, but with how much variance there is in the game of commander, I think it is important to at least come to the table with express knowledge for the other opponents that you are playing, whether it be high-powered, casual, or competitive. And in a competitive setting, green has kind of fallen off the boat. It's like it's not even on the trip with the rest of the crew. It's not really good right now, and I'm going to cover precisely why. So we've got 5 separate categories we're going to be discussing today, and the first one is ritual mana versus ramp in the form of traditional dorks. And we're going to be looking at green in a vacuum. So not green plus X. You know, you can point at Tinderwall and say, well, that's, you know, I play 1 mana and I get 2 mana. Well, that's not a ritual that you're offered in just green. So no gold cards. The second category is going to be forms and type of interaction. And so far as artifacts and enchantments are concerned, green is usually good. But boy, does it suck at taking down creatures. And boy, do creatures just conquer CDH right now. There's so many good creatures. We've literally had so many just this year alone, namely at the top of the heap, Orcish Bowmasters, but there have been so many good creatures, and green doesn't have great ways to deal with them. And don't say Song of the Dryads, Kenra's Transformation. Those are old-ass cards. We just returned to the Wild Spell Train. That's how long it's been. Also, we are going to discuss combo cards and play lines, and not in depth, but we do want to just cover some of what you might see in a green list and how truly inefficient they are or how convoluted they might be to get there. There's a high requirement for pretty much every green combo, more so than white, more so than red. Outlets and payoffs, as well as legendaries. Those are all the topics we'll be covering today, excuse me. But we'll also be opening some packs. So, Will, I've got our packs separated here. I'm going to open 1 pack for me, 1 pack for you. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Nibiru says, sup, Pat. Not much. Nature's Claim as well as good green staple. Nature's Claim is a good green staple. Lightning Bolt and red.
I like Natural State debatably more than Nature's Claim.
I like Natural State better than Nature's Claim. You know, I don't like giving someone 4 life. It's just like, it's a repeat of Wednesday, people. There was a 5-alarm fire in my neighborhood, Will, the other day.
Oh, no.
And we had like 7... It was an absurd amount, like so many fire trucks run through the neighborhood. But guys, we're going to open up a pack each, and then we're going to go through the topics. Does that sound good? Okay. If it doesn't, that's even okay, because I want to open packs. All right. I've got a sick-ass spirit token. What is this spirit token doing? Look at him, man. Wait, he's like, word. Yeah, he's so hip. Shit, this is the hippest. Wait, is this the one you get? Is this the spirit token you get from Forbidden Orchard?
No, because that one is flying and that one's black and white. So the Forbidden Orchard one's a colorless without flying.
Oh, I'm going to play it anyways. Oh, I got a Fibblethip.
Hey, nice. You can build CDH Fibblethip if you wanted.
I don't know if I like Fibblethip that much.
It's a Proteus Staff combo deck.
Oh, hey, shit, I've got the Proteus Staff. If I break Shorikai. Oh, Stomping Ground. Hey, already doing well. Got a little Shockland. Got a little Old Border Krenko up in here.
Speaking of Sylvala.
I know. Speaking of green, dude, oh, it's a foil one too. Shit, I've gotten some cool shit here. Dude, I forgot how sick the Ravnica cards were, by the way. But yeah, speaking of Savala, this was a combo piece I never incorporated because there was just better.
Yeah.
Like you're looking for Staff of Domination, not that. We've got, what is this? Compulsive Research? Target player draws 3 cards, and that player discards 2 cards unless they discard a land.
Oh, there's an alternate art that people know it for.
Oh, we have Ultimate Price. We got the
Hey,
Persistent
you can run as
Petitioners.
many as you want in your deck, so you just need like 30 more, Patrick.
I know, we're gonna get there. Ooh, a foily Simic Signet, but as we know, I'm not gonna be building green anytime soon. But Will, you have Thrasios Dargo, so
Yeah.
maybe you'll want it. Crackling Drake. This guy is pretty legit. This is very much a cube card. But so far CDH is concerned, not so much. Rakdos Pit Dragon, except he's only in red. Just want to point that out. And we've got Selesnya Evangel, Scorched Rusalka, one of my favorite names. Bulwark Giant. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Active Treason, Active Treason. Face Fetters. Was the good card up at the front? Because the good card was at the front, Will. That's weird. Are these packs backwards? I'll take it.
I don't know.
Well, we know now. Okay, we got 1 pack for Will. Beseju Who Endures is the best green card. Oh, we didn't really discuss lands. I guess you could say Gaia's Cradle. But even that has like a high requirement. You need creatures for Gaia's Cradle to be good. There's plenty of times where I've seen a guy with Gaia's Cradle that tapped for nothing. Okay, Will, you get Saproling. Probably the best looking Saproling, by the way. It's also a zombie, if that's relevant to you.
That's a thing.
You got an old border foil Void Slime.
Nice. It's a counterspell.
Oh, hey, look, you have Tomic, Distinguished Advocist.
Weebtomic, let's go.
Weebtomic. You have Thespian Stage. Shit. Are you going to pull out your, what is it called? Dark Depths?
I do have a Dark Depths versus Saya from way back when.
Oh. You have Revival Revenge. Hope you needed it. Hey, you have the foil version. Oh, God, I love old border
foil
foils.
Foil old border.
You have Putrefy.
I love that art so much. It's such a bad card, but I love the art. Hey, it's very Signet.
Hey,
I would throw out the Doctor deck, except another Putrefy.
I'll trade you for the Signet for my Shurikai.
I'm willing to do that.
Eyes Everywhere. You have this card's actually not that bad. Not in Commander, but in a limited setting. Yeah. Arboreal Grazer, potential combo card. Oh, hey, that's just me. We've got Full Light Fiend. Fist of... Oh, it really likes my face. I'm sorry, guys. But that's it, Will. That's it.
Who doesn't, though?
Thank you, OBS. Thank you, Will. And thank you, audience, for bearing with us. We have a few more packs to open up this holiday season. Guys, I hope you are having a good December so far and hopefully a restful next week. Will and I will probably not do anything next week. No guarantee on my part. I might actually put out something on Wednesday and work. But we might do an F&M if you want to do an F&M.
I'm fine with doing an F&M.
Okay, then. Let us know if you guys are interested in participating in some gameplay. Guys, we do live streams for One Piece or pre-recordeds moving into the future every Wednesday. Friday is always going to be the day for Magic, and Saturday for Sorcery. I have some content for Sorcery on the hard drive that I need to edit, and it's good. It's good, I promise. Okay, so on to the topic. Why green sucks? So, Ritual versus Ramp. Will, do you want to start us off? I have some thoughts on this, but let me know where you're at so far as green's form of Ramp. And this is outside of artifacts because anyone can use artifacts.
Yeah. You're not special because you can play a Soul Ring, okay?
I can turn one a Soul Ring too, bro.
Yeah.
I'll put the
So
iconic one, Birds of Paradise, on the screen for us.
yeah, Birds of Paradise is really good. It's Birds in Paradise and what's it called? The Deathrite Shaman. Those are like the two really good Wooburg ones, and we got Delighted Halfling recently. Shame
Mm,
that it's still not even that great.
yeah,
Um,
sadly.
so rituals versus ramp. The main idea is just that green is the best color for ramping out because you can basically pay 1 mana to get extra mana every single turn for the rest of the game in a million different ways. Because you have Avacyn's Pilgrim, you have all of the elves, you have effects like Utopia Sprawl and Wild Growth. You can do a lot of crazy things with green to ramp. The issue is you don't need constant mana because at some point you need more draw than you need more mana. And if you hit like 6 mana, you're probably playing like 2 to 3 cards a turn, and you're going to need to draw 2 to 3 cards to play it out. But you're also going to want to hold cards for interaction, so you probably don't even want to play out your whole hand. So that's when rituals are kind of better than ramp. Because paying
Mm.
1 for an elf is significantly worse than paying 1 for like a dark ritual or even like a rite of flame or something like that, and then trying to play ad nauseum or the One Ring or anything that's really prevalent that will get you ahead in the game. So even though that green can ramp, which will help you better in the late game, there really isn't a late game.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're playing a bunch of stacks list, then you'll get there, but you'll really get there. So beyond dorks, green has some exclusivity to a handful of really interesting enchantments. Specifically, like the big three: Wild Growth, Utopia Sprawl, and Carpet of Flowers. And Utopia Sprawl is better in multicolored list where you pop out that dual land and then you get an additional color. So you essentially make, you
A
know,
triumph.
right, precisely. Except one of those colors is fixed. Wild Growth's always going to offer green, and Carpet of Flowers is dependent on seeing islands, but trust me, you'll see islands. So outside of the traditional dork, you do have a little bit more by way of ramp in green, but it's really exclusive to those three things. You're never really going to go out of your way to play the 2-for-1 effects. And there are additional enchantments that offer that, unless you're playing a specifically enchantress based deck to where it makes sense to run those effects. But again, seldom often the case. So in my opinion, the cons to dorks is that they are slow and susceptible to the most removal, right? Even just a cyclonic rift, which will happen, is a no-go for you because it's again slow. Like you're not going to be able to rebuild as quickly as other lists that have just relied on fast mana or mulliganing aggressively to a hand with fast mana, right? Whereas you might be playing a green list and you'll mulligan aggressively to get one of your dorks out. Your setup is always going to be a little bit slower than someone who's relying solely on artifacts. And again, like we were saying earlier, you can play artifacts in this list as well. I will say though that the cons of a more traditional based green ramp list with dorks is the fact that they can block and you can hold them off turn to block and potentially play a card, some form of interaction at the same time. So there are tricks you can play into that. They can be sacrificed for effects, which is very much often the case. It's a good way to ramp into your food chain lines, provided you lack the mana or have an inefficient amount of mana to do the line. You can use the dork and sacrifice it to get the ball rolling on that strategy, or even use it in something like Eldritch Evolution. Right? There are plenty of ways to sacrifice creatures to some greater effect, to include greater good, but dorks are generally not that big unless it's Morrowind, but we're not trying to sacrifice her that easily. But they're also essential to infinite lines. And there are a few infinite lines that rely on you producing, mana of any one color, or even green mana in certain instances, or just gobs of green mana, or gobs of green mana, or any other color of mana, right? So in Savala's instance, you could say mana of any color, but it's generally going to be green if you're playing Savala. And Priest of Titania, of course, she lends herself to combo lines in much the same way. But you'll notice a trend here that a lot of these things require other things to get the ball rolling. So Priest of Titania, are other players playing elves? Am I playing elves? Do I get the critical mass? Sometimes you don't, especially now. You don't. You really don't. And Savala, cross your fingers that people don't dislike her enough. And I think she's just going to be a bystander to things like Orcish Bowmasters these days. So outside of those traditional forms of ramp, as well as what I like more, I like the Wild Growth and Utopia Sprawl more than I like dorks. I would rank those and Carpet of Flowers higher. You also have Elvish Spirit Guide, but that's really the only, mana positive way of ramping on a turn outside of black and red, who have things like Rite of Flame to Dark Ritual and so forth. Right? So it's inherently slow in a nature, and the deck generally, because of that, if it's mono green, is waiting for turn 3 minimum to get the ball rolling on any plan. I've found, at least from playing Ashaya, Marwyn, Savala, Yisan for a time. Like, I've played them all. Takes a while. And maybe
I've been everywhere, man.
Right. And in Sasaya, as a matter of fact, like it is definitely turn 3 and onward is when you're pressing a win, right? Like it's just
turn 4 is Sasaya for that deck specifically.
Right. So I would say that is sort of the inherent issue with the mana generation that green gets. It's slow. It's really slow and susceptible removal. But does that make it a bad color? No, but collectively with everything else, I think it gets hammered. But what are your guys' thoughts on this specific topic of ritual versus ramp? Obviously, again, everyone can run Mana Crypt. You should be running Mana Crypt. But do you like Mana Dorks in today's meta, 2023, 2024's meta? Will, thoughts? Do you like Dorks currently? Do you run Dorks in Thrasios Dargo?
In Thrasios Dargo, I run Dorks just because I need like a tiny bit of mana sometimes. But the thing is, I don't look for Dorks too hard in the deck. I don't even think I run Bloom Tender in that deck because I think Bloom Tender's too slow for the deck.
It is
even though it
slow.
can easily make 3. But
yeah.
Bloom Tender just doesn't feel like it does enough. So I don't really run Bloom Tender. I run all the 1 mana Dorks that are pretty decent. I don't even think I'm running Delighted Halfling in that deck, if I'm being honest, though.
But Bloom Tender plus another dork is a Thrasios activation.
Yeah.
Think about
Bloom
that.
Tender plus Freed from the Real is an infinite mana combo, but I don't care.
We have a bird. We have Gigantoplasm. All right, well, it's cool looking. Old bird of foil. I got the Protean Hulk.
Ooh. Dang, that's alternate art foil Protean Hulk.
No,
Dang.
It's not foil, sadly.
Oh, it looked foil. Oh, never mind.
It does look foil. I know. Copy enchantments. I'm not going to bother turning my head. We have Farseek. Farseek is actually pretty dope.
That's a ramp card that so many people love. I think it's so, like, okay.
Oh, I like Dimir House Guard. Anything that says transmute, I'm a fan of.
Yeah, people run it in Carrick.
Selesnya Guildgate, another Farseek. Oh, I love the doubles. 2 arms. 2 arms is actually a really dope effect. Untap all creatures you control, draw a card. If only Savala could use it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Selesnya Savala with the same effect. Demon Fire, Burn Bright. It's interesting. Oh, Persistent Petitioner again. I'm getting all of them. Will.
You can build that deck with the, what's his name? The Grand Archmancer guy. The double mill guy.
Let's do it. Sold. I'm all over it, Will. You're going to get the Niv Mizzet Prune, I hope. Let's see here. Orcish Bowmaster may be pushing many dorks out of the format, to be honest. Yeah, with the fact that they're going to be in every single deck. Yeah. I think that green is correctly designed, and that was Devin. This is Mateus. For non-CDH metas, by having it draw happen in the late game, like Zendikar Resurgent.
I can kind of agree to that, but I feel like it wasn't entirely designed for that. And I feel like having nothing available for green in CDH hurts. Quote unquote nothing, of course. I'm over exaggerating, but you get the idea.
Just got Legolas's quick reflexes, man.
Yeah, we got a piece of like mediocre interaction, but like good utility. Hey, that's a shock land.
You got a foil Blood Crypt, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to build a Rakdos deck now.
Ooh.
Bird.
Ooh, what a pretty bird.
Is that foil or non-foil?
It's non-foil, sir. I'm sorry.
Aw.
But shit, that is one of the better birds of paradise I've seen. That is so freaking cool.
It's another bird. Mine is beaten to high health. Ooh, Udvara Hellkite. I might give that to my brother because I think he'd like that for his dragon deck.
Ooh, Prize Shield.
Yeah, Prize Shield's fun. Does some
Oswald
dumb combos
Staple.
and casual.
You got Guy's Cradle? No. It's not. It's a
Gruul
Gruul
Guildgate.
Guildgate. Yeah, build the
Yeah,
gate deck. Golgari Thug. Hey, I remember it when this was played, and it was played in some lists. Some of your what's it called? The frog list.
Gitrog.
Gitrog. Goblin Electromancer.
Another
Orzhov
gate.
Guildgate. Okay, all the guild gates. We need to get
In
you
fact,
a duplicate of Loam Shaman right after this one. Come on. No?
yeah.
Okay.
Loam Shaman's a weirdly good card though. Like return stuff from exile.
Sunhome Stalwart. Hey, Drift of Phantasm.
Hey, nice. Another good transmute card.
Yeah, Narumea special. Look at you. Get that Ghostly Flicker. We've got Bomber Core, excuse me. Quench, if you're feeling thirsty.
It's more spell pierce. Let's go.
And Glowspore Shaman. I think that's the last of it.
Yeah.
And the hippest
I'm
of
pretty
spirits.
happy with that pack.
That was a good pack. Moving on, though. But guys, feel free to lend your 2 cents to any of these topics as we go through them. But another reason why green sucks. It's going to be fun just hammering green this way. And look, mind you, it's nothing personal. These are just observations. But when I incorporate green in list, it's really just a handful of cards, generally speaking. And specifically when it comes to interaction, I don't even use, I'm trying to think, do I have a green list right now? I don't think I do. But the types and forms of interaction in green. So when it comes to removing multiple threats, and again, in a vacuum, this has been the bread and butter for green for way too long. Beast Within. And even white got a version of it with, what is it, the
White
elephant?
got two. White got 2, and one of them is better Beast Within. Except can't hit lands, but
who cares? Like, yeah, exactly. So, like, if you're playing casually, it's a poo-poo no-no on you to begin with. And if you're playing CDH, it's rare that you're going to target the land anyways, unless it's like a Sarah Sanctum, again, in the Enchantress list or a Guy's Cradle. Even then, it doesn't really make sense unless you want to put someone off a color. And then who the hell are you making it a 3-person game? It just doesn't. None of it logics. Beast Within, however, destroy target permanent for 3 mana. This has been the creme de la creme for green for far too long, and it's really the only thing. Well, wait, no, you said Song of the Dryad. Oh, it's also 3, and it's temporary removal because they can get rid of this, right? Well, you say, Pat, what about Kenrith's Transformation? I remember Kenrith's Transformation. This card is ancient. Came out a long time ago. Yes, it cantrips. Yes, it replaces itself. Yes, it stunts a creature. And then you're like, well, Pat, we've got other forms of interaction. We've got Nature's Claim.
we got Return to Nature.
We've got Force of Vigor. We can remove artifacts and enchantments.
We have the classic effects that have existed for a really long time, like Legolas's Quick Reflexes.
Right, yeah, the classic Legolas card. It's been 20 plus years in the game. Yeah, no, we haven't had those effects in a while, but Legolas's Quick Reflexes, it's interesting interaction, but things like Heroic Intervention, they're protection spells, more or less, whereas Legolas's Quick Reflexes is protection and removal for some crazy reason. It's a good card and something that green needed, but so far as the form of interaction for removing creatures, we're limited, and it's been these 3 for a long time. Well, you can also use fight effects or target creature you control deals damage effects. And to be frank, that is asking a lot of the player. It's saying you need your commander out. Your commander needs to be, because your dork isn't going to be the one punching things down, okay? It's not going to be the one to slay Tivit, trust me. Your dork is never going to punch high enough. Do not invest into X equals combat trick effects to remove creatures. It's just a bad form of removal. And as soon as you go into other colors, you will remove every fight or damage effect that does the same thing. Again, green is good at removing enchantments and artifacts, but so are every other color pretty much. Red, artifacts, white, enchantments, although white has sort of splashed into both of those fields. Blue is going to handle it on the stack. Black, I just hope you're in other colors. Hope you're in other colors to handle the things, because if there's stacks on the board, you're just going to hope everyone else is trying to deal with it too, which is generally often the case, right? The green player will handle it for you, pretty much. But yeah, the fight and deal damage effects for creatures kind of suck. I would say that artifact and enchantment removal is primo in green, but not even desirable.
Yeah,
I don't know.
issue is just
clamoring
that
for another nature's claim, Will?
uh yeah, like another Nature's Claim effect would be good because I mean, look at White. Like if White's good removal effects, Swords to Plowshare, Path to Exile, and then we get Galadriel's Dismissal. We get another removal effect that's one white and it's really good. We
Didn't
got
even
the
need
what is
it.
it?
Didn't even need it, Will.
And we got
Removal
like
and
March to the
protection.
Yeah,
Removal
we got
and
March to the Otherworld is another thing, and then we got Heliod's Intervention, which is just a really solid, decent piece of interaction. And we got freaking Stroke of Midnight because Generous Gift wasn't good enough because Beast Within wasn't good enough. But then if you look at green, it's like, okay, well, what's the really good tech removal that people run in green? Croson Grip?
Yeah,
Uh,
Croson Grip is the oddity with split second, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just removing an my issue is that removing an artifact or enchantment is a little bit less than 2 mana worth of value. So you either need it to be 1 mana with some kind of downside or some kind of hurdle to jump over, or it needs to be 2 mana with an upside. The issue is they don't want to give an upside to the 2 mana ones without having to make it a sorcery, and for the 1 mana ones, they just don't want to print them because they feel like they're potentially too strong, which is a bit of an issue. But even if you had like a 1 mana fight effect, that
Hmm.
would help green out a good deal. Or not a fight, but like a punch effect. Like just your creature you control deals damage to an opponent's creature equal to
Yeah.
this creature's power. Which the weird thing is, I think red has had an effect that does that, but green doesn't. Like red got a punch effect for 1 mana before green did.
What do you remember the name of it? But Mateus
I
says
don't. It was something from Ixalan forever ago. I'll find it really quick though.
so Mateus says there are 3 white beast withins and the often overlooked excise the imperfect. And to be honest, I definitely overlooked it. Exile target non-land permanents controller incubates X, where X is its mana value. White just keeps getting gas so far as removal is concerned, and I love it. I
That's
will
better
say that
Beast Within too.
that's
It's
better.
Exile.
It is white double. It's generic double white, mind you. So it is a little bit more difficult to do, but it is better. It is definitely better. Yeah, white's got it in spades these days. Like I love Soul Partition. Like I'm a big fan of this spell. Exile target non-land permanent for as long as it remains in exile. Yada yada yada. Like this effect is amazing, as well as the channel effect that we just got. Like green just kept getting done dirty so far as interaction is concerned, specifically towards creatures. The fact that like the things need to be flighted. In many cases, green's removal, like strict removal for creatures, relies on the thing being airborne, which is old school and cool. And
You
what
can
makes
get rid of
green
Tibet
green?
though, Patrick. It
I
gets rid of Tibet.
you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. That is the biggest threat. You'll only need to concern yourself with Tivit. So pack as much, what is it called? What is the one from the original Ixalan called? In a limited environment, it was really cool. It just killed flighted things. There was like birds on it and like a hunting dog. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. Also, I found the card. It's Mutiny, but it's target creature an opponent controls deals damage to another creature that player controls.
Mutiny.
So it's an opponent's creature fights another opponent's creature
Oh, well,
functionally.
that's
You're
not
not fighting
green.
with punches. Yeah,
That's
it's
not
red.
green one.
I'm saying red. Red got one that was before. Yeah.
Would you say that green would ever, for flavor or other reasons, do something mutinous?
I think green could. It's probably the. You could argue that black would be closer to doing that than green would, but green's kind of like a all for one. Like you could get like Law of the Jungle and then have that effect as well. Like
Hmm.
if you printed a card that said Law of the Jungle and it was just one green do mutiny, I'd buy that.
Yeah, is it weird that I feel like mutiny is better than the majority of the green effects that do the same thing? It's nice because it deals damage equal to its partner. Like I don't know, it's sorcery speed, mind you, but what I like is it's the opposite issue with green, where green requires that you have a creature, it just requires that they have a creature. Although damage to its power to another target creature that player controls, so that person needs 2 creatures. All right, well, mutiny's maybe also asking a lot, but if it comes down to it, it will remove the Orcish Bowmasters for the Orc army. It will smack the Orcish Bowmasters with their Orc army, which is probably the biggest threat to your green board's dorks, as we were referring to earlier. Like, that is an actual issue. But yeah, so far as interaction is concerned, green does do it right again by way of artifact and enchantment removal. But is that enough? I mean, again, I feel like you're gonna. It's like the thing we were saying when it came to Galadriel's dismissal. Like, you, if you fail to win, you don't mind that they get the thing back. If you succeed at winning, then it didn't matter if the thing only phased out. So, in a lot of instances where you could have a Nature's Claim in a list, you're going to default to trying to find your Chain of Vapor instead, because you know what? If you fail to win, it's good they get the thing back. If you succeed, it didn't matter in the first place, right? And you avoid the whole business of giving them 4 life. You hit more things. There's just better, when you splash other colors, more and more green cards get whittled away from your list because they're just not stacking up to the other colors. It's, I don't know, man. If you play a 5-color list, let me know. Like, do you mainline Nature's Claim in that list? If you play a 3-color list, do you mainline Nature's Claim? Maybe. Dual-colored list. Simic. Do you mainline Nature's Claim? Does it make it into the interaction suite? I don't know. With your Thrasios and Dargo, are you running Nature's Claim or Natural State?
I used to run them, or I used to run Nature's Claim at least. I don't run it anymore, but in my old Stick Fingers deck, I think I run both of them.
So Golgari. And then you probably run Assassin's Trophy and, the other one.
Yep.
All right, well, that's nice. In a vacuum, though, are these cards good? Sure, but not by way of creature removal. And it is odd that red gets damage effects at 1 CMC before green.
The most mutiny effect in green that we have is Legolas's Quick Reflexes. It's 1 mana, your creature you control punches an opponent's creature, but that creature has to not be summoning stick, and it has to be able to tap on the time that you're using it, meaning that you either use it on your turn then attack, or you have a tap ability on it.
The last grade card, man. All right, audience, name the 2 best green cards of 2023. The 2 best green cards of 2023. What are they? I'm curious to know. I want to pin this message, but it won't let me. There you go. Did it let me pin it? Name the 2 best green cards from 2023, and one of them cannot be Legolas's Quick Reflexes. The 2 best green cards from 2023. Will, that goes for you. What are the 2 best green cards from this year? And do they make their way into your CDH list?
Man, it's really hard because it's like even Boseiju Who Endures was last year, not this year.
Right, Boseiju Who Endures is great, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Like, we want to see more channel effects. Like, it's a hard form of interaction to deal with, and that's really green's. I think that's the only green channel effect that we care about.
Yeah, it's the best one. Also,
right.
Like, it's the best piece of green removal that we've gotten in a long time.
Overgrown Tomb, anyone? Look at me. Look at me with my foil Overgrown Tomb. Chromatic Lantern, anyone?
Chromatic Lantern.
Dude, I love the alt art on the lantern. Oh, Deathrite Shaman, is it foil? Oh, damn it, no. I didn't see the shooting star. Ooh, foil Karn the Great Creator, though. Hell yeah.
That card's he's playing.
He is super playable. You should play this in your green list. What are you doing? You need this.
Collector Oof.
Exactly. Run both. Redundancy. Skewer the Critics is a good card. Fight me. It's another bolt.
Yeah, it's another bolt.
Sorcery.
It's like worse bolt, but still good bolt.
Krenko's Commands, for all you Krenko baddies out there. We've got, is it Guildgate? Will, between the 2 of us, I think we have all the gates. Is it Signet? Shit, dude. Do you need this for your... Do you need this for your deck?
So for Dargo Thrasios, I don't run the Signets, I run the Talismans.
But Gale and...
I already have them for Gale and all that.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Might want the foil one for Gale, but not too invested on getting the foil for Gale.
Well, I would trade this to you instead for the Azorius Signet if it was relevant.
Yeah, I might
Um,
be down for that.
ooh, I got a little Sphinx action for you. A little downsize action for you. Green card we're never gonna play. An Armory Guard. I have Radical Idea and back to the token. Okay. Poison Dart Frog for the cuteness. You know what's saddening me, audience? Is the fact that you can't name 2 good green cards from 2023 that don't include Legolas's quick reflexes. So just say that's one of them. Name me one other good green card from 2023.
I'm still looking through it because I'm doing EDH Rec Rank and scrolling through until I see something that I'm like, oh yeah, that's a green card that we play in CDH. That's like relatively recent, and I'm
Nope.
still not finding any.
So like, and this is it. Because like people are like, in the other post that I put up in the community tab, people are like, you're smoking crack. Green is the best. Green is the best color. For some reason, I gotta say, green is the loudest minority of players in Magic. They love to stand up for green. Anytime I say anything about Protean Hulk, Piles, or just green in general, they're the most active, most outspoken members of the MTG community because I think it's like the largest collective of Timmies and more power to you. But they're so loud about how good green is, but are never really able to tell me why. And I'm challenging you, audience. Let me know, what are the best green cards from this year? Invasion of Ikoria is a great one.
Yeah,
Invasion of
Ikoria actually is 100% one of them.
Yeah. Best pizza removal green has
Delighted Halfling. Invasion of Ikoria and Delighted Halfling are the 2 best.
There you go. So how good is Delighted Halfling? How many lists is it in? Why is it good? Invasion of Ikoria, it's a, you don't really need to explain that one to me. It's a tutor, and it's a battle siege, and we're going to see more subtypes for battles soon. But battles were like a very quirky new card type that came out this year. So it's 2 things. It's probably the best battle of this year, and it's also the best tutor from this year because it's another form of finale of devastation. So yeah, 100% agree with you guys on Invasion of Ikoria. I'm a little iffy on Delighted Halfling because personally I don't like Cavern of Souls and I don't really like Dorks. So I don't know where it fits in the world for me. Obviously the big hullabaloo when it came out, and we obviously discussed Delighted Halfling as it came out. But so far as, green cards from that set are concerned, Legolas's quick reflexes kind of takes the cake, but the Halfling's still fine if you run a list that cares about dorks and cares about that form of protection. Yep. This is your pack, Will. This is the Niv Mizzet Prune.
Oh, I got the Goblin for your Krenka.
I know, it looks so good. Prune. You have Life from the Loam.
Nice Life from the Loam. Is that yeah, it's foil.
Will, make your Gitrog. Got a little breeding pool. Shit, we just keep getting the Shocklands. I honestly am not mad about this.
Oh, that's a card you might want from me, Patrick.
Yeah.
Border Illusionists.
Yeah, if only Oswald cared about it still. Priest of the Forgotten Gods.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, you removed Illusionist bracelets from Oswald.
Yeah, I did, sadly. Narcomoeba, let's go.
Yeah, the card that narcs on everybody, let's go.
Yeah.
People off with the jellyfish.
Dude, what is it? Dread Horde Return? What was it?
Dread Return.
Dread Return. Dread Horde Return. Oh, another Guild Gate, the Gruul one. Oh my god, 2 Guild Gates in a row. We got is it Guild Mage?
The thing that goes into it with dramatic reversal in addition to Ice Crazy Safety.
It's a little upsetting that all the good cards are up front. Not all. You know what I'm saying? Like all the cards we're excited about seeing are up front. So the back half of the pack is like, okay, what do we got?
Also, all right, guys. 2 Goblin Electromancers.
Hell yeah, dude. Green is good. Green is life. Is it though? Is it? Moving on.
Green is good. Green is life. Timmy's will cut you with a knife.
Yeah. I'm not so certain about that because the next topic we're going to cover is combo cards and play lines. So again, green in a vacuum. Let's prattle off some combos, and I know a few green combos. I mentioned them earlier. Priest of Titania, Savala, Marwyn, Sword of Perun, Staff of Domination.
I will say, name a combo excluding a commander. So no commanders in there.
Just Priest of Titania.
Yeah.
Priest of Titania, Food Chain, Eternal Scourge. In green specifically, you could say Squee, obviously. I'm going to cheat by stepping out of the vacuum and say Scurry Oak as well as Rosy Cotton. But the problem you'll notice, even when we go outside of the color pie here, is that these don't really win on the spot. Staff of Domination, yes, you'll draw your deck after you've made infinite mana, if we're excluding Savala and Marwyn. Food Chain, Eternal Scourge, you need a payoff. Rosy Cotton, Scurry Oak, you're just making tokens, right? You're really spinning the wheels. Silesia is not a good color to break into for green because the finishers in those two colors are really rough. Unless you're doing an artifact storm list like something like Oswald or Teshar, or you're just relying on Heliod and Walking Ballista and you're still playing Heliod Suncrown as your commander. And no shame on you, because it's still probably better than a majority of green list. And what green lacks really are the win effects that blue receives, win triggers and replacements, all of the great enablers from black like Ad Nauseam, Necropotence, PETA from black, the best graveyard utility with Underworld Breach from red. It's really missing nothing from white. But green by itself doesn't quite do as much so far as its combos are concerned or its playlines are concerned, because it's missing a lot of those really good enablers and finishers that the other colors have, right? At least that's what I've observed. But Will, what are your thoughts so far as combo cards and playlines are concerned? And we can take the same approach and just ignore what you have in the CZ as well.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like, there's only two combos I can really think of that you didn't cover, and one of them is not really great, and the other one is like the current best green combo, but the issue is it's still very mediocre. So the okay one is Temur Sabertooth plus Great Oak Guardian, because that gives your creatures plus infinity and makes you infinite mana, but you need a lot of dorks to get that running.
Savala special, baby.
Yeah. And then you have finally Ashaya plus Quirion Ranger, and everybody kind of knows that one. And that one's just infinite mana and infinite untaps, which can get you the win. You just need an outlet.
It's presumably your commander, I would say, Ashaya, if you're doing that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, like, you can do things in green to kind of get set up. The issue is that it's about as good as Kiki Jiki Zealous Conscript, kind of. Because it's Ashaya, a 5-mana creature, plus a 1-mana creature, and then something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of the combos in green are A plus B plus C. So if you're not utilizing, which is one of our topics, the legendaries you get to helm in green. If you're not utilizing a legendary that's at least one part of that combo, you oftentimes don't get there easily. So if you get your commander shut out like a Savala, you're really screwed. Like, you're left out of the game for a good portion of it if you're not comboing out, immediately, which is your opponent's allowing you to combo out immediately, right? And Jeff was saying that Halo Fountain is a really good finisher in Selesnya decks, and it certainly can be, pending your strategy. Specifically, if you're running Staff of Domination to do any part of your combo, you can use Staff of Domination to help you manipulate the creatures you're making off of this to untap 15 creatures to win the game, right? So yeah, totally agree with you. Halo Fountain can very easily be used in that deck for a win. It's also just another untap utility. I quite like Halo Fountain and Oswald. It could probably find its way into Selesnya list. As soon as you go outside of that, though, there are generally better things to do. But yeah, guys, what are your thoughts on that, though? Do you feel like, are we missing any good combo cards or playlines in green? Or is there something in green that we're missing that makes it superior to the other colors? Because to be frank, it's, again, in a vacuum, not doing much for itself. And outside of a vacuum, not doing much for any other color. Because Will mentioned Ashaya Quirion Ranger. Tell me true. Are you going to want to add the Ashaya Quirion Ranger combo in your Najeela list? Probably not. Are you going to want to add Temur Sabertooth's Great Oak Guardian in your Sisay list? Probably not. There's just infinitely better things to do outside of green to, again, a lot of those lists get washed out with the 4 other colors that exist in this game because they have more efficient, better play lines to be running. Again, that's no knock on green. It's just a problem it has right now. It doesn't have a good low end, like a lot of good low end effects. And a lot of things that do come out that we get excited for in a very Timmy nature are things like the thing from Ixalan, the Skullspore Nexus, right? We get effects like this that are like really cool, things that help us enable great play lines, but it's so inefficient, right? It does require you have a big thing on the field. So it by itself is not good. It's an 8 CMC spell, but it in tandem with other green things that green wants to do is great. But then when you go outside of green, it's like, well, this doesn't really have a spot in my list. Maybe in a list with Dargo, you might do something with this in Dargo. That could be a cool partner pairing thing, but am I wrong, Will? Best of Green 2023. Oh, I got it.
Am I going to be running in Tide Pod? No, I will not.
No, and that is Teamer, right?
Yep, that's running green and blue, so I can search this up as an artifact a little bit, but
well,
I'm not
curious,
doing it.
Will, how many green cards do you have in your Thrasios Dargo build? What is the card count of?
I can pull that up really quick, actually. So in my Tide Pod deck, I run a total of, scrolling down to my thing. So it says that the number of green production is 48%, the number of green symbols on my lands is 25%, and then the number of symbols in total is, so it says that, I think, what is this? 28% of my cards are green, which is higher than the number of red cards that I have in the deck. But the thing is that I'm running all of the 1 CMC dorks that are just generically good. I'm running Collector Oof, and this is including cards like Kennen, Prime Speaker, Vanifar.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're excluding like the weird things like Golta I'm primarily just running the 1-mana dorks, Sylvan Tutor, which is a bit of an oddity, but I need to find creatures, Finale of Devastation, Life's Legacy, which is another kind of oddity, but I'm running Dargo, Eldritch Evolution, Veil of Summer, Worldly Tutor, Court of Calling, Sylvan Library, and Birthing Pod. And that is all the green cards I'm running.
You said the battle, right?
I'm not running the battle because I need to search humans a lot of the time.
Damn. All right.
So I don't run the battle because I'm either looking for Kennen, a Dockside, which the battle can find, Imperial Recruiter, Spellseeker, or where's the last one? I think, yeah, no, it's primarily those. It's pretty much I'm looking for Spellseeker, Kennen, or Dockside are the 3 things I'm trying to find.
Hi, Victoria. No worries about being late. I've got on a separate tab all of the interesting comments we're receiving over on the YouTubes. I'll pull it up here so we can look at some of these together before we carry on. But the next category we're going to be discussing is... The next category we're going to be discussing is outlets and payoffs, right? Which is separate from combo cards and play lines. And I'll get into how and why that is. But I put up a poll a good 4 hours ago on how to fix green in Magic the Gathering. And we've gotten a few comments here, but before I get to these colorful comments, let's go ahead and open up some more packs with you guys. Okay, so Will, this is the one. What is the, I don't even know what are people looking for from?
Probably Bob, Cyclonic Rift, something like that.
This is the Psych Rift, baby. This is the Psych Rift. Foil, 1, 2, 3, let's go! Seal of the Guild pack, okay. I got Seal of the Guild pack, and I got a Ral Zarek.
Oh, you got an anime boy.
Got a little anime boy. I've got Master of Cruelty. Hell yeah. I wish it was foil. I would run that strategy. I have Yeva, Nature's Herald. We've got Boros Guildgate. Of course, all the guild gates. We have a Frilled Mystic. Interesting way to say merfolk. They prefer merfolk. We have Compulsive Research. Temple Garden. Dude, all the foil shocklands. Jeez. Dude, I need all the Shocklands, by the way. I
I
need more
think we've
copies.
gotten at least one shock per. Oh, look, it's an uncommon Quicken because they realized that it's not good at rare when they printed Born Upon a Wind.
Yeah. Do you need Quicken for
I
your
have
list?
one.
Okay. Light of the Sage, also a decent card. We have Demolish. I don't know what that mugging. Okay, we got a good old mugging this holiday season. Hopefully not.
Have a
By the way,
holly jolly Christmas.
Dogpile and Spirit. Oh, wait, does Dogpile do what I think it does? Dogpile deals damage to any target equal to the number of attacking creatures you control. Feels green to me.
And I will say the fetch cards of this set are Bruvak, the Grandiloquent, which is the card I was referencing with your the guys that you're
Grandiloquent?
talking about. He's the double your mill effects guy.
Double your mill, double your fun.
Yeah. So he's
Okay.
funny because if you have the target player mills half their library, they mill their whole library instead. That's his win con. Um, but it's him first, Cyclonic Rift second, Breeding Pool third, Cloudstone Curio fourth, Sacred Foundry fifth, Liliana Dreadhorde General sixth, Blood Crypt seventh, Lord of the Void eighth, and then you have Steam Vents and Watery Grave ninth, or
So
ninth and
this,
tenth.
Mateus mentioned Nissa Resurgent Animist. I assume is like a potential commander, or just like a good value card. And Seedborn Muse is kind of cracked. Do you run Seedborn Muse in your
No, because
Tide Pod list?
Seaborn Muse is just a
Oh,
very mid card.
you think Seedborn Muse is mid? You're telling
Yeah.
all of the Thrasios Tymna players out there that Seedborn Muse is mid. Explain,
See,
Will.
so I will give this contingent. Seaborn Muse is good if you're running Thrasios and White. It's really good if you can slow down the game. The issue is you don't want to try to slow down the game in green too much because you want to try to snowball into a win. And if you're slowing down the game, you're giving people more options to deal with your board.
Damn. You heard it here first, people. We've got Goblin. You have Divine Visitation, Will.
Oh yeah,
If
that's
one or
the
more tokens
make,
would be.
make some angels. We're gonna make some angels, Patrick.
And you have
Oh, it's a fetch. They're not fetch a shock. Yeah.
Halo Fountain. Get it. Oh shit, you got a Tide Spout Tyrant up in this bitch. It's
It's I
non-foil, but do
I
you need
hate
one?
both of the arts from this set. Have you seen the anime art of Tidespout Tyrant?
Oh. You're telling the Kinnan player that Seedborn Muse is mid.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So I will say, specifically in Kennen, Seaborn Muse is great, but that's because your commander lets you cheat out creatures at
Ooh.
instant speed. Oh look, Patrick's favorite commander.
Oh no, I'll let you make it though, Will, because I've already got Yuriko on the list. Okay.
I know.
The power to go arena full control. You got a foily condemn. I love old border
Nice.
foils. So wise of you, Wizards of the Coast. Maybe the best decision to bring back old border foils and
I
brown
love
borders, specifically brown borders. Brown border artifacts are the best. Let's not kid
Also,
ourselves.
I was surprised to see that Void Slime is right behind Karn in most expensive card.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was surprised to see that. And I'm like, Karn is staple.
How much is Karn?
Karn's like $10, a little bit over $10. Not for the foil. It's just for the standard Karn. It's like $10.
How much is the foil?
Don't know. I'll have to look that up on
No,
TCG.
that's okay. I
Look
just
in one scratch ball.
I'm really just asking for my trade-in value, so I know
Yeah,
what I can pick up from One Piece if I trade this in. I do need a copy of Karn. I think I might still have a foil copy of Karn though, so I'll have to look through my box. Orzhov Enthusiast, Basilica Gods, and Will your Goblin tokens, sir. All right, you've got all the Goblin tokens, by the way. I think Krenko's next for you. Actually, don't you use these in Zada?
no. I
Don't.
don't think I make Goblin tokens in Zada.
All right. Look at you. Too good for him. Karen just got banned though. Is it
Yeah,
another
in Modern.
ban? Karn, not Karen. Wow, do you have a
You're
lot of
banned, Karen.
You're banned, Karen. Get out of here. Do you have a lot of Karens you deal with, Mateus, in your life? Is that why it auto-corrected to Karen? At any rate, we're gonna move on. You let us know about that. Outlets in payoffs. All right, so in another reason why green sucks. And again, feel free to refute us. I feel like we've got a lot of believers in the audience, but if you disagree with any of our opinions as to why green sucks, please let us know, because we must be wrong. It's interesting because again, we're looking at this through the lens of CDH players. So I'm going to move over to the community post tab where anyone can see these polls I put up. Right now, 402 votes. This went up 4 hours ago, so 100 votes an hour. That's a pretty decent rate of interaction. And speaking of, 70% of the viewing audience believe that better interaction is what green needs. Followed by better commanders. And it's low. Everywhere else is low. So I guess a majority of the audience feels like the interaction suite in green just sucks. But better commanders, people don't feel that way. Draw spell. Me personally, I would say draw spells. Green draw sucks. Green draw sucks. It's all contingent on power. And like Greater Good and Sylvan Library are the best ones I can point to. Sorry.
I think green is fine draw-wise only because it has like a ton of tutors. I think green is the second highest tutor color outside of black, but it's for creatures only. So if green has good creatures, it doesn't really need draw because every single card that they draw will be a tutor, pretty much, with how high the tutor count is in green.
The tutor density, yeah.
Yeah. So I think
that doesn't mean they have good draw spells, though, okay, Will? They could still use better draw spells.
Do they need draw to be better?
How about this?
Would they like draw? Yeah.
Yes, they would. I would want a green Esper Sentinel that says if okay, how interesting would it be? Let me create a good green draw creature now. 1 CMC, it's a 2/1. It can only block. Whenever a creature with greater power enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, otherwise draw. Something like that? No, reverse that. I wanted to draw when bigger creatures hit the battlefield.
Yeah, you want an evolve trigger with draw on it.
Yeah. Give us that. And then you're getting punished for playing bigger things. It gets to play catch up, and you're getting a draw out of it. I don't know.
If we wanted to kind of make a whole suite that we could do for green, like we could do either 2 or 3 for 2/3 that says when a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, this fights that creature, or you may have this fight that creature unless an opponent has you draw a card. That would be an interesting one because it's like a green tax thing and a bit of removal.
I'd like that a lot, actually. Will, we should be card designers with WotC. Should I reach out to them?
They're going to say no, but I wouldn't hate that.
Why I don't see why they. Okay, by the way, guys, you might have noticed that we're MTG ambassadors. We've been a part of the program for the 2023 year, and moving forward, we should also be participating in the program. So do expect more MTG content here on the channel alongside Wizards of the Coast. Thank you, Wizards, for making that extension. I don't know if that's public, but I didn't get an NDA for it, so the offer is out there. Whether we do it or not, entirely up to us. But just so you guys know, you can expect to see more content for MTG moving into 2024, if that excites you. Hit the emojis, it goes a long way. And if you're watching this, feel free to hit that like button, guys. Please, please like me. My whole life I've been needing this validation. Please like me. All right, let's move to comments.
Well, really quick, I want to bring it up. So Jeff, if draw's a problem, you can run Occam Adversary, or that would be played more. Well, the issue is, Jeff, people don't want to play green, so Occam Adversary is 4 mana.
Occam Adversary sucks, man.
I wish it was, like, a bit better, but I nearly ran it into Saya for a while.
I don't know, every other color has, like, a good draw utility. Even white now. Esper Sentinel, Dark Confidant, Mystic Ristic, and then red is just SOL too. But
red doesn't even need draw utility. Red just has like pretty decent bombs. In red is like the whatever I hit, like whatever I casually roll into is what I get, or I just have all the cantrips in the world because red has the best cantrips.
It really does. They're up there now. Green is the best color in casual, says Clash City Creedon. It's weak in CDH because the things that green does best, big mana, big creatures, attack for obscene amounts just doesn't matter in a format where people are trying to win on the stack with spell-based combos by turn 3.
Agreed.
Interesting
Agreed.
observation. George or 500 said, we'll defer to the more popular ones. How about that? I guess this is a top comment. In casual, green is fine, as many people have pointed out. I would still argue that it's probably third behind black and blue power-wise in casual. Still third in casual. But in high-power CDH, it struggles in every aspect except big bomb-like spells. It has some of the worst tutors, interaction, and board clears. That's true. It does lack decent.
They don't have like a board
clears.
clear. I think the best board clear is like 7 mana. You make a 4/4 for every creature your opponents control, and they fight those creatures. I think that's the best board wipe in green, other than like Bane. What's it called?
Bane of Progress. Yeah, you're right about that. This is an interesting comment so far. Even then, creature ramp is being stifled pretty heavily with the high interaction, efficient answers, and speed of the format. A creature ramp creature like Land of War Elves, so a dork, is really slow compared to any mana rock equivalent, as mana rocks need nothing else to be immediately, viable. Realistically, the best thing green can bring is better, cheap dorks. I feel like Delighted Halfling is a step in the right direction. We just need more of that. Cards like Autumn's Veil and Summer's Veil are also great. George or 500? Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to go over a few of these. One of these is very well liked. We'll go down to that one later.
I will say, so the only disagreement I have with this comment is that green has bombs and green has bad tutors. I think green's best utility is the fact that it has the most tutor, like it is the most viable tutors in the game, period, out of any of the other colors, including black. But black has better tutors. Because with green you have like the 3 or 4 pay X search tutors. You have Sylvan tutor, Worldly tutor. You have like a couple other weird tutors here and there, and then you also have Summoner's Pact. But green doesn't really have bombs, because if you look at what green's best cards are for kind of immediate closing cards, it's like Ashaya and Craterhoof Behemoth. And both of those either require other cards or are just hope you have a big board, win the game.
I've pinned a new request for you all. Name the 3 best draw spells in green. Go. And this isn't for you, Will. Not yet. You can answer it in a few. Don't taint their opinion. But name the 3 best draw spells in green. Go. For years, people have told me green is chocked full of great draw spells. And I've been looking. I've been playing this game for years and creating content for it for not as long, but almost equally as long. I don't see it. So please point me in the right direction. I need to know where green is drawing cards. I need to know. And yes, tutor is not the same thing. If I play a tutor, I have 5 cards in hand. I still have 5 cards in hand unless I fail to find. So it's not draw. It's card quality effect, some form of card quality.
Yeah, net card advantage. Right. So your Veil of Summers doesn't count.
Exactly. Veil of Summers doesn't count. I personally would love a mono green commander that is not just big mana, big creatures, or counters, to which someone responds. Finn, Death Touch and Poison counters. Will, you'll like that answer. Titania, Ave, Kosei, and Joyral. I like that. I'd put better interaction, but honestly, mono green doesn't need it. It's the best color for casual play, and if it got more spells like Beasts Within or Croson Grip, it would be over the top. That's interesting. Beast Within is so freaking old, and Croson Grip, even older. It could use better interaction, but I'm glad Wolfsbane feels like it's doing enough now. That's good, and I think that's more indicative of the circles you're running in, if you feel that way about the interaction suite with green, because I would say the interaction suite is probably the worst aspect of green. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, again, this is from a CDH perspective though. So do you feel that way in casual, Will? Like it's not lacking in by way of interaction?
I feel like people don't even really play a ton of interaction in casual to begin with, but
Mm.
the 3 CMC interaction is much more viable in casual than it is in CDH.
Hmm.
So I can kind of agree with that. What I would want to see is more kind of closed off interaction that's at low CMC for CDH. Like
Hmm.
Nature's Claim is kind of a good example of that, but Natural State is one I would like a bit more. If we had something that was like what is it? Not naturalize. We had like literally naturalize, but if an opponent cast a blue spell this turn, draw a card or something like that, that would be
Hmm.
worth it. Like just one in the green, pop an artifact or an enchantment, and if someone played a blue spell, draw a card. That would be
Hmm.
pretty good because it's just a cantrip under certain
How
circumstances.
about an offer you can't refuse except it targets artifacts, enchantments, and creatures?
I
And
wouldn't say
they,
creatures, but I'd say like artifacts and enchantments,
well,
or you could
that's,
do
but that's what
or
they
you could do
need.
creature. I wouldn't do all three. I wouldn't do all three.
That's what they need, Will. Okay, well, it's fine.
No,
Just give them creature removal with upside for your opponent. Just give green creature removal in the one CMC slot with upside for your opponent. Like it
honestly,
desperately needs it.
I would be fine with that a lot of the time because green has had like a couple give your opponents benefits to do a stronger effect before,
Yeah.
and like that's fine. Like I think that works.
I'm going to read over your favorite draw spells in green in just a second, guys. I am curious to hear your thoughts. We'll go down to the 11 liked response here, I think. I think that's fair. I must be missing all the creature removal green has at instant speed that doesn't require you to have creatures, because it sounds like everyone else knows that list. Yeah, I don't know either zero. I feel the same way. Only thing is if mana dorks weren't affected by summoning sickness for their tap ability, says lots of music. That's, I guess, the only detriment they feel. Fixed green, it does everything. Ramps, draws, destroys permanents, etc., etc. It doesn't really destroy permanents because Song of the Dryad, right, is what we mentioned earlier. That doesn't really destroy the permanent. Yes, Beast Within, but only
Permanent
Beast.
removal. Yeah, I'd say that it's still
Sure,
within. It's arguing
not
semantics at that point.
destroy.
Yeah, well
Well, it
that's
is
arguing
very different though.
semantics.
I could flicker the thing, let your Song of the Dryad go, and still have my thing.
Well,
You didn't put it in
Pat,
my graveyard. It's a different
Patrick,
zone, sir. It's
let
not
me.
semantics. If it's in a different zone, it's not semantics.
Well, Patrick, you're telling me you're running that land flicker card?
Oh, stop. You're really stopping my lands. You really care about my Guildgate
No,
that
no, no,
much,
no, no.
Will?
If I'm turning your One Ring into a forest, and you say that
Oh,
you can
okay.
flicker it, what card do you have to flicker that
Soul
forest?
Partition in Oswald. I will exile it and I'll recast it for protection because everyone knows the protection aspect is the best
Soul
part of the
Partition is
One Ring.
non-land.
Oh, wait. Let's look. Let's look. Let's look. You said the One Ring, Soul Partition.
Yeah,
You
the
said,
One Ring. Yeah, but the Dryad thing turns it into a forest. It's just a forest. How do you flicker it?
oh, give me a second. We've got not what's the good white one? Ephemerate?
You have the one
Is
that's return a permanent on your board to your
no.
hand. That's like the best one you've got.
I think it's just yeah, light exile target creature. Yeah, it would have to be Light the Way in that deck. Or you just okay, it would have to be Light the Way. Are you saying
Yeah,
Song of the Dryad is mainlineable for all the One Rings?
I'd say that
Just chain
Song the
of
Dryad is like comparable to Beast Within in playability.
all right. Against a mono white deck, sure. You might stunt me. But I doubt that the mono white list is the biggest threat to the mono green list in a particular CDH setting. I feel like that Song of the Dryad will probably go somewhere else, but I don't know. Maybe I rush out the One Ring and everyone shits their pants again and they deal with it. It's by far the weakest color in everything except creature ramp, and even then, abundance of interaction other than colors have gotten printed, including Orcish Bowmaster, and shuts that down heavily. In casual, green is fine. Outside of casual, it struggles in almost every aspect. I like that comment because I agree with George Orr there. I think green needs fixing in a CDH setting, though. All right, moving on, guys. Our next topic is outlets and payoffs. So, what are the best outlets in green? Walking
So
Ballista?
yeah, Walking Ballista is kind of one of the best mana sync effects. The other
Right.
issue is that, and I hated that I found this out, and it's actually kind of true because there's a card called Ram Through.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Wait, you
so
didn't know about Ram Through, Will?
no, so
I'm just
here's the
kidding.
thing.
I'm
So
kidding.
Ram Through is printed in Ikoria, but what I hate is that this is the best green effect to loop. Like out of all the other green effects, this is the best one to loop to close out a game. Because if you don't know, Ram Through is an instant punch effect. Yeah, it's not fight. And if the creature punching has trample, then it does excess damage to the other creature's controller. So with Ram Through, you can try to give each opponent a creature,
Yeah.
use Ram Through after buffing a trample creature really big, and then you just ram through 3 times to kill each individual player.
Let me
So
set up the
even
play line for you guys. So it's Tamir, Sabretooth, Great Oak Guardian, Savala. You use Eternal Witness to recur ram through everyone. Is that
yeah,
accurate? If
something along
your
those
things are
lines.
summoning sick, right? Obviously that would be the hang up. Otherwise you would use like a Finale of Devastation, your graveyard, everything has. Right. So this is a good finisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, but the issue is that this is the best finisher. If you look at red, they have Bolt, which is just way cleaner. If you look at black, they have what's it called? Praetor's Grasp,
Lightning
which
Lightning Bolt is better than ram through, Will. Can you I'm sorry for
yeah,
the record,
no,
sir. I'm
I'm
sorry.
willing to say that wholeheartedly. Lightning Bolt's better than a lot of removal that people like to run.
All right, so I just want to clarify for 2023. Will is up for election of MTG Overlord. He states that Lightning Bolt is better than Ram Through. Folks. Okay,
Patrick.
let the
I
record
have a
show.
Dargo Thrasios deck, and I run Lightning Bolt, but I don't run Ram Through. I have a 7 power Trample Commander for 1 mana in my command zone, and I don't run Ram Through.
You don't want that excess damage hitting people? That's
No, I
excess
don't.
commander damage too.
It's
And
not
you think
commander
Lightning
damage,
Bolt
it's
is
effect
better?
damage.
Oh, never
It's
mind.
effect damage.
It's
Yeah.
not even that good. Sorry. Oh, ram through. All right, let's see the best draw spells in green. Before I continue with the outlets, as a matter of fact, my outlet conclusion is very short. Because all I had to say was outside of bouncing Eternal Witness and loops, your payoffs are limited. Your outlets in green are limited. Will might have touched on the best one you get for green, right? The best thing you can really do are play lines that incorporate, I've already mentioned this, Finale of Devastation. Finale of Devastation, at least in a CDH setting, because this is live. It's a small spell. It's something that you're going to run in pretty much every list, unlike a Craterhoof Behemoth. And once you've generated the infinite gobs of mana, everything you summon with this spell will hit the field with haste. That is the best payoff in green exclusively, right? Otherwise, just play Walking Ballista like every other list that has infinite mana, but no blue for Thassa's Oracle, right? Which is what you would rather be doing, probably, at least in a CDH setting. But Will, correct me if I'm wrong, and I do want to go over some audience comments here so far as the best draw spells in green are
Yeah,
concerned.
Finale of Devastation is definitely kind of the best. The best that you have is like an actual finisher or closer, because that's what most people are running. I mean, even if you look at one of the decks that has a weirder win con, which is Thrasios Livio. This deck is one of the weirdest win cons that I've seen, but I love it because you use Destiny Spinner as the win con. You get all your lands out of your deck with Thrasios, animate all of them with Destiny Spinner, untap them with Village Bellringer, and then you have like a bunch of 8/8s with haste. Um, that still requires you to do like a bunch of like weird setup and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
you only run it because Thrasios lets you get out all of your lands. In green, in general, it's just really Finale of Devastation because it's just better Craterhoof Behemoth at this point.
You heard it here for. I'm sorry. Can I get that on the record, sir?
Yeah, I
You're
mean,
saying
I
that you're
doubt that
saying.
anyone's gonna argue
I'm
that
sorry.
Finale of Devastation is
Just
better than
check.
Craterhoof Behemoth.
Just to make sure this mic is working. I'm sorry, sir. You
Yeah,
said that Finale of Devastation is better specific verbatim.
better Craterhoof
Finale
Behemoth
of
was my exact phrasing.
Okay.
So Finale of Devastation is better Craterhoof Behemoth, and I will
Okay.
stand by that because you pay
Thank you.
12 to give all of your
Yep.
stuff plus 10, and haste, and you also get to either reanimate a creature or cheat a creature from your deck into play.
All right, sir. Okay. We've got that in our exclusive Ravnica remastered collector boosters
Yeah,
for the
and
record.
I wanted to go back to one thing because someone decided to quote my Seedborn Muses mid line again, saying the One Ring exists, and I want to point out that the One Ring does exist, but Unwinding Clock is definitely a better Seedborn Muse because it's non-color specific, and part of the issue is that if you're trying to use Seedborn Muse for the One Ring, there's better things that you could be doing on that turn, more likely than not.
Right. So opposition agent enters the chat, but this is when you use your Finale of Devastation to find your Crater Hoof. And they get your Crater Hoof instead. They're like, I don't give a shit. This ETB can fizzle. Let's go. Unless you had something better to grab, like a Consecrated Sphinx. God, get smacked. Get smacked. Let me draw. Let me draw. Speaking of great draw spells, though, is there anything that's comparable to Consecrated Sphinx? Let's find out. We have Toski. Toski. Okay, so let's talk through some of these. Will, Toski. Is Toski a good card? I like Orin Frostfang better, personally, because it does make your dorks threats. Like, they're actually volatile. Otherwise, your opponent can just block the things, right? So Toski, secret attacks each combat if able. Whenever a creature you control deals combat to a player, draw a card. The only issue with Toski is that you need an open board or someone tapped out to allow for you to get the draw, although you will draw off of each individual creature. This is draw. It's contingent on Toski not being summoning sick, you having multiple creatures. Creatures you control can attack after playing Toski, but if you've just played Toski, presumably your mana dorks are tapped. What other creatures are you playing? I guess Collector Oof. I don't know. But yeah, Toski's fine. It's very situational. I wouldn't say it's comparable to any other draw effects from other colors. Greater Good. I'm sorry, feel free to add to any of this conversation. Well, I'm sorry. Is Toski good draw, though, in your opinion?
Toski is okay draw. It depends on the deck. If you're doing something like Tea and Tree, I think that Toski is pretty good. Because I see that people do Toski and Orn Frostfang and Tea and Tree lists, but that's mainly because you're running Tymna, you're trying to do Tymna things already, and you're cheating out a lot of creatures with Kodama. So you are going to have a big board for Toski, and you can probably find one person that only has 1 to 2 blockers. The kind of difference between Toski and Orn Frostfang, because I want to quickly go over the differences.
Oh,
So Orn Frostfang costs 1 more
expensive.
green, and it's a 2/6, and it says your attacking creatures have Death Touch, and then it has the same draw effect as Toski. Toski is a 1/1, but it's indestructible. It has to attack each turn if able, and it can't be countered. The issue is I don't think a lot of people are going to be countering your Orn Frostfang or your Toski, and you're going to be cheating them in with Green Sun Zenith effects a lot of the time anyways. And on top of that, like, you want to keep up a blocker sometimes, and a 2/6 is much better at blocking than a lot of other things. So Orn Frostfang is going to sit there, be a blocker against stuff like Tymna, and also make it so your stuff won't be blocked because Death Touch is actually pretty scary. But then Toski's just So I like Orn Frostfang more than Toski as well, but I can understand if people want to run Toski because they're trying to do a faster deck.
Yeah. Greater Good was the other card referenced here. Again, my issue with green is that a lot of it is contingent on other things being in place, and Greater Good is like the definition of that, right? So it's a 4 CMC do nothing unless you control a creature. Sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, then discard 3 cards. So if the creature is minimally 3 power, you will have effectively looted for 3. So it's card quality. If the creature is 4 or more, it's card advantage. I went from 4 cards to 5. But in the aftermath, I'm losing a creature. You can do this at instant speed. It's not barred to sorcery speed. So you can still get value out of this creature. But by and large, Greater Good outside of a combo is a 4 CMC do nothing spell. Fight me. I don't know. It's not good. It's not good in my opinion outside of combos. And it's a good draw effect in green, sure, but it's not doing much outside of play lines that incorporate it. And I don't know. Do you feel the same way, Will? Are you indifferent on Greater Good?
I agree. Either Greater Good does everything or Greater Good does nothing. You will see that Greater Good will slightly fix a hand a tiny bit, but it doesn't really net you cards. Or you'll see that Greater Good draws your entire deck. There is no in between where it draws like a handful of cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a trend you'll notice with all of the draw effects that were mentioned. Return of the Wild Speaker. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. You know, again, it's you pay 5, you get the benefit for doing other things in your game. And what's funny is, like, if you cast this and you choose your mode and someone kills the creature with the greatest power, it's not target. It wouldn't would have. There's no memory of the card being on the field at that point. If you kill their biggest thing, which is their Dargo, I guess, then you draw 1 for your dork. What do you? Greater Goods. Return of the Wild Speaker also being contingent on power and not letting you draw just for existing, right? Like we were mentioning earlier, Esper Sentinel just draws for existing. Dark Confidant draws for existing. Mystic and Ristic draw for existing. And greatly, because people in a lot of cases don't want to contend with those two things. Some players are good or behaved and will pay those taxes, but it's not always the case. Last March of the Ents. This is another good one that's contingent on things. Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control, right? 8 CMC. It's good in the list. It will never be splashed in any other list. Viridian Revel. I'm just going to speed through some of these because, I feel like the story is going to be much the same. Whenever an artifact is put into an opponent's graveyard from the battlefield, you may draw a card. This is very similar to the effect Compost. Whenever a black card is put into a graveyard, draw a card. It's contingent on something else happening that doesn't happen with enough frequency.
Even then, I actually kind of like Compost more than Viridian because artifacts usually aren't going to get put into graveyards. Compost, that Vampire Tutor is going to draw you a card. And even then, like, the issue with Viridian is treasures do not trigger it. Because treasures are not cards, they are tokens.
Right. Yeah, it's odd. It's odd wording. Yes, tokens do enter your graveyard and as a state-based action leave your graveyard, but they won't trigger this. Like Will was saying, if I'm not mistaken, it doesn't matter who controlled the artifact. Hot take, in CDH Dark Confidant is unplayable. Victoria said treasures. Will, is that true? Can you verify that RK post
I will
Viridian
double
Revel?
check it, but I'm pretty sure Viridian does not work with treasures.
Hot take, in CDH Dark Confidant is unplayable. That's interesting. Depending on your curve, it's still playable. For a long time, for as long as I've been playing, I've seen it come in and out of usage. And when I began playing CDH or competitively in Commander, people did run Dark Confidant along with their Necropotence. And like that pile was, the 3 draw engines, I say. It's, it's not quite the same thing. It does not use that keyword. Dark Confidant, Necropotence, and Ad Nauseam have always been played. I would say that Dark Confidant's certainly fallen out of favor, but it's no less of a card. It says artifact, not artifact card, though. Will.
So I believe, yeah, it says artifact. I'm double checking because I believe I've been told that it doesn't trigger off of tokens before, but I'll just double check.
Punished. It says artifact, not artifact card, so treasures should trigger it. Mateus says it does work with treasures.
It's looking like treasures do trigger it. Interesting. I still don't like the fact that it's 3 CMC, but that is pretty useful.
That's right, guys. Useful. For every Dockside Extortionist you expect to see, pack your Viridian Revel. I like it. Sold. Best draw engine in green. And I still don't think it's good enough, but I think you should run it. If you're trying to draw cards, I think you should run it.
My issue is that people just... So if you have it, it's basically going to be the equivalent of a collector oof, but your opponents are just going to try to crack it on the turn that they're winning now. So it's still like a worse collector oof in a lot of scenarios.
What is the green deck drawing that's going to hamper the blue farm player?
Court of Calling to flash in their collector oof to actually stop.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like, don't pop those treasures yet. Don't snap your
Good
don't
to know
snap
that.
don't snap your dark
But
side yet. Okay. Thank you for the clarity, guys. That's
yeah,
duly noted.
'cause
Another pack crack.
I for some reason thought it was card.
I have a Karlov Ghost of the Council.
That's
Mythic.
the fun Karlov art too. It's the anime art.
Oh, sweet. Whenever you gain life, put 2/1/1 counters on Karlov.
I played against that on my Wednesday CBH night. Funnily enough, one of my friends is playing that.
The other
Hey, you got
Fibble
another Fibble Thip.
I got the non-foil version. And the rest of the pack is probably just fine.
The Doggo Maker,
Tulsimer,
Lumcrafter.
Lumcrafter Shaman, Snowbreak. Oh, the Selesnya Guildgate. Yeah, Rakdos
Rakdos
Guildgate. All the
Guildgate.
Guildgate. Let's go. Ether Plasm. Muddle the Mixture.
Oh,
is it
Muddle
foil?
Mixtures. That's actually quite good.
It's foil. Muddle the Mixture. Get out of here, dude. Learn how to make that mixture right. The guy's been screwing it up for years. Azorius Arrestor, not in Azorius. We have Merfolk of the Depths. The best 6 mana I've ever spent. We've got Keymaster Rogue, and we have Mephetic Vapors. Yeah, we're not gonna play that. Okay.
Look at the Karlov art like in detail though, because I think you'd like the freaking anime face he has, because he's just like freaking nefarious.
We'll have to compare that to Will's expression because it is actually very similar. Whenever you gain life, pay 2, remove 1/1 counter from Karlov, exile target creature. Oh shit, green, eat your heart out. We've got all the creature removal right here. Will, do you play this with the Ozolith? Do you run Sarah's Ascendant?
So the thing with that is you build up counters so quickly on that you don't need Ozolith.
Really? Do you really will?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Don't try to I wanted the freaking Niv Mizzet on the pack, Will. I didn't want this dude, the sad guy, Karlov. I want his daughter, or I want nothing at all. Is it his daughter? What's her name? Teysa Karlov?
Teysa Karlov. I don't know. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, our RVR is front loaded. I might be spaced out. What are your thoughts on Sylvan Library? Legion says.
Sylvan Library is a generically good card, but it is not like a bomb. So it's 2 mana, like scry a bit every now and then if you have fetch lands. If you don't have fetch lands in play or in hand, you're probably going to be taking 8 to draw 2 every turn. It's nice. It's like 2 mana draw like 4 to 6 cards, which is very good and very useful.
All right, well, Lucas Zontini.
Yeah.
You get Bottled Cloister.
Yeah, the card that I know I never use because it's kind of pointless.
Yeah. Victoria, I will be your microphone for Devil's Advocate, okay? So anything you need to say. Ooh, Hellkite Tyrant, bro.
Oh, nice.
Awesome art on that one.
Yeah. Which one? Hold up. So that's the oh yeah, it's steal everybody's treasures or steal everybody's artifacts. Yeah.
Not my treasures. Ooh. Did you know that the Muffin Man was like a serial killer?
Yeah. I can't remember if that was like actually what it was based off of or the other way around.
This Rakdos Guildgate is thicker than the average card. I'm dead serious. Your foil Guildgate just
thicker than the average Guildgate.
It's built different. This Guildgate was built different. We have Wilderness Reclamation. Rakdos Guildgate! Carrying the tradition of getting duplicates of foil and non-foil in the same pack. All right. Azorius Guildgate! Foil! If you get another Guildgate in this pack, this 4 Guildgate pack, I think that's the dream for a lot of people. All right, Will, I'm wishing you luck. Sky Hussar.
That card goes in Thrasios Livio.
I think we just got 2. No, we got Sphinx of Revelation. Sorry.
Yeah.
This goes in Thrasios Livio?
Yeah, because it's a Bellringer effect.
Ooh, but what about Sharkdo Crab?
No. It exists.
Earth Urbis Protector, Conclave Equinaut, Sewer Shambler, and Wild Canterwill. Oh, wait, one more. Don't forget the Wojak Bodyguard. Okay. All right, guys.
Wojak Horseman?
Wojak Horseman. The last and final topic, the final green thorny nail in the coffin. I'm going to let you guess the topic. I said it off the top, but I'm going to look up some cards, and you're going to tell me what the topic is. Why does green suck? Okay, we've got this. This isn't needed. Okay, what's this?
I'll quickly go back for my picks for Green's best draw effect, in my opinion, because we quickly went over that. But Sylvan Library is definitely one in my opinion, and then the others that I would say is a very underrated one. Which, where is it? Because I'm trying to remember the name, because I can never remember the name of this card, but I do actually really like it. Yeah, it was here. Glimpse of Nature. Glimpse of Nature is a surprisingly good one, because it's good as just a generic storm effect. It can be an outlet, but it can also just be a handful of draw when you really need it. And then Compost was another one of mine, because a lot of people run black right now.
Shaper's Sanctuary checked out. Shaper's Sanctuary is not checked out. Shaper's Sanctuary is one where if your creatures are targeted by spells, I believe you draw a card. Correct. That one's nice. That one's nice. I think it was Ixalan card. There's like merfolks in a tree scared for their lives because all the other colors are doing more things than them. I think that's what the art represents.
That's what's going on in the art. I agree.
You have more than a playset of each Shockland already? Damn. I do need copies of Shocklands as much as I need copies of OG Dual Lands. So I'm happy for all the Shocklands I've seen. Will, between the two of us, this has been Shockland Central, this whole box. Like,
yeah, I'm surprised that you didn't pull a Shockland in that previous pack.
I did. Oh, yeah, not in that previous pack. But guys, if you haven't guessed, the final nail in the coffin, the thing that's really hampering Green is the fact that Green hasn't gotten a decent legendary in the CZ in years.
The closest I think that we got was the Nissa from Aftermath, but even then, it's such a gimmicky commander.
I built it. It did a thing. It was fun to play. But, okay, so with Shia, minimally 3 to 4 card combos in the command zone. Yisan assembles combos, is kind of integral to the strategy. Marwyn, 3 to 4 card combos. Savala. We'll look at the cool art though. I've really fallen for this artwork now. I really do like these profile arts.
I hate it. It's so pink. It's so pink for a green card.
Pink. It's my new obsession, Will. You should need to look up. Every time I see this art, it makes me think of Pink by Aerosmith. Look up that song. It's a great song. I love this art. If I played Savala again, I would play this art. But would I play Savala again? No. Why would I do that to myself?
I'll play Savala on your behalf.
This is really good art. I agree. It's all the reason you need to play a legendary. Guys, the issue with Green mostly, at least in a monocolor setting, is the fact that it hasn't really gotten anything new to spice up what the color is doing. I will personally put my name on the line as a CDH player and say that Savala Heart of the Wilds is the best mono green commander. And so far as legendary pairings are concerned, when you splash Green, it's more or less the same issue we've run into with the rest of this discussion. You're really only going into Green for a handful of tutors, a few core pieces of interaction, but once you start splashing other colors, it's rare that you're going to seldom go for any of the effects that make Green what it is. And Savala sort of gets to live in that space perfectly. She cares about power. Also, your opponents, like if they beat you to the punch, will get a draw off of Savala. There is that detriment. But she is a combo enabler and a payoff in the command zone. She will cycle through the deck and draw cards. That's better than any of the other ones. Yisan obviously also has his play lines, and you can get there with him, but I would say he's maybe second fiddle. And Marwyn is up there.
The debatable only comparison that you can say of a mono green commander that's better than Savala, because Yisan is just consistent because he's a toolbox commander. The issue is green hasn't gotten really good cards to take advantage of that toolbox. I think in the very near future, Yisan may become a Tuca-Cola deck, and that would probably be good because you can do Elvish Reclaimer for your
Bro,
1-drop and then Took for your 3-drop, and then that just
bro.
gets you there.
Sorry, did you see this version? Can you do Yisan Coca-Cola, please? With this art? Wait for it,
For
wait for it.
hold up, yeah, I'm gonna see it on stream in a second.
It's please do that with this Yisan.
Oh, the freaking ugly art.
Yeah, what do you mean ugly?
The freaking like
So his eyes falling
blind.
out. So his
Yeah,
eyes falling out.
the freaking blind Bigfoot art.
I actually really like this one.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
All right, Will, which is better, this or the Savala art that I like?
Saval art's better than this.
Okay.
The
But
Saval
guys,
art actually looks like a thing, whereas that just looks like freaking homeless Bigfoot losing an eye with his gremlin friends in the background.
all right, so to be perfectly honest with you guys, like when you consider green outside of a vacuum, the only cards I really think to include are Nature's Claim, Natural State for that one CMC slot, the Veils, Noxious Revival, the Green Tutor Suite, and then potentially, pending your setup, maybe Collector Oof and maybe Manglehorn. Also the higher arcs and Deathrite Shaman and Birds of Paradise. There's a handful of things I can just throw off the top of my head that I think are core to green and would make it decent. But I wouldn't say that I would incorporate Sylvan Library into every list, particularly lists that incorporate black, because I know I'm going to be targeted for that. And the life loss per card draw probably isn't worth it. It's also slow, right? Whereas it's what is it, 2 CMC do nothing compared to your Mystic Ristic if you're in blue. There are just comparable and better things in other colors that you should be playing that are more efficient for your mana, right? You're going to get more for your mana in other colors for other effects that do similar things. That's sort of the tragedy of green right now, and why I think it sucks. And that's maybe putting it harsh. Maybe that's a little rage baity. But the fact of the matter is, green can be doing more in a competitive setting, and it doesn't. It just doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't get there. I would say that it sort of falls behind the other colors right now. And that's saying a lot that it falls behind white. I don't know. I think we spent 2 hours fleshing this out. We were going to incorporate other topics, and Will was like, "Nah, we could probably just talk about green for 2 hours," and we did. Will,
Yeah.
closing thoughts on this topic though. Did I
So,
miss anything? Was I too harsh?
the one thing I will say is at least Sylvala has gotten some nice tech recently with the Shigeki Snakestorm.
There you
Literally
go.
everybody I've ever said that to gets triggered every single time I bring it up, and I'm like, it's good. It's good though. It's a
I
creature that
like
you
it.
can tutor for that's automatically like a loop with Sylvala with all the cards you want to run anyways.
All right, Will. This is the honey pack, the money pack. All right,
Yeah.
that's going to make up for the whole box, people.
Ignoring the fact that I think you already pulled one of the more expensive cards from the set.
Which one? The Karn? Ugh.
I which one was it? Hold up. It was I think it was one of the lands.
Oh, was it the
Breeding
first
Pool.
land?
I think it's Breeding
Hey,
Pool.
I'm gonna hold until it does it.
There you go.
Yay! Happy New
Yeah,
Year's,
Breeding Pool is the third
guys!
most expensive card out of the set.
Shut the front door. My foil breeding pool?
Yeah,
Was it foil?
and that's not even counting foil alternate art or anything like that. Like just Breeding Pool as vanilla is the third most expensive card from the set.
That's the power of green. That's right, baby. Get your green cards today. Half off here on Local Game Group. Guys, we're going to be ripping and shipping cards in a few seconds. If you want yourself a breeding pool, 10% off for the New Year's. I will send it direct here. I will hand deliver this breeding pool. If you want it, let me know, because I'm not going to be playing it. All right, last packs to open. Feel
So
free
out of
to...
the lands, really quick, the most expensive to least expensive, and I'm probably gonna stop after like the fifth one, but it's with the alternate art full art foils, it's a Hollowed Fountain, Watery Grave, Breeding Pool, Steam Vents, and then Blood Crypt.
Ooh, 6 for 6. Cav Walker, Will. What is it? 6 for
Hmm?
6 body, Cav Walker, gold border. What is the card?
I don't even know what 6 for 6s there are in this set. I was
Mind
never gonna
Leech.
guess that.
You're never gonna guess Mind Leech Mass?
I didn't even know that card existed.
You've never played
Oh no, I
the
did. I did
the
actually
horror?
get.
I'm,
I know
I'm just
about
kidding.
that
I
card, but
I
it's so
don't know
weird.
about this card. I'm
It's
happy for you.
I played that in one deck. Oh look, Steam Fence.
All the duels. I just need these duels, baby. All right. I do need the duels actually.
Hey,
Golkari.
speaking of Gitrog,
Yeah, speaking of Gitrog. Sorry, Gitrog. Haven't seen you in a while. All right. What is this? What is this? What is this? It
oh, that's the
is
pacify thing. It's
Faithless
not pacify, but it's the
Fetter.
thing.
You know,
Which
I
means
love the old borders, but like the light colors with white text is actually hard for me to read off of
yeah.
my camera here. Demir Guildgate foil, let's go. We've got the full set, baby. Moroi,
I don't even know if we have the full set actually.
Voyager
Hey, Voyager
Staff,
Staff, love that card. Remand. Hey, I run it. I run
Remand.
that in my Gale deck.
Yeah, I run it too in Oswald. It's called Retrieve there. We've got
You mean
Forced
reprieve?
Landing, Reprieve. What did I say? Retrieve.
Retrieve. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I saw a dog or something. Spirit token. Okay, whatever. Mind
Oh, and
Leech
also
Mass. That's all I
the
needed.
money card for the alternate arts is the alternate art Cyclonic Rift, by the way.
Cool. Hopefully you pull it. I gotta say, if Devin is still in the audience, he's pulled all up. That fucker. Devin
Also,
will send me
whole
pictures of the stuff he's pulled. He pulled the alt art one ring crazy goofy art. He pulled that. He pulled the foil Psych Rift from Commander Masters for the foil Force of Will. Dude, literally, he pulled all whatever boxes he was sent. He literally got the best boxes. Sorry.
Also, apparently I'm actually winning with that Birds of Paradise. That Birds of Paradise is
Hey.
apparently $4.
Well, Will, to your health and fortune in the new year. Guys, feel free to talk up any topic, but you officially know why green sucks. If you want to contest it, feel free to in the chat. But moreover, let's just talk shop. What's exciting you about 2024? What are you most interested in seeing? Is it Fallout? Is it Markov Manor? Is that what it's called? Is it the Clue tie-in? There's so much wackadoo stuff coming out for Magic, and I'm kind of for it. But let me know what you guys are most excited about in 2024, and we can talk anything TCG related or gaming related in our final pack here. But Will, what are you excited about for 2024?
100% Nuka-Cola. Nuka-Cola, I feel like, is actually going to be a really good card for green. And the green plus decks.
I was going to say for green, that artifact. Yeah, no, I agree. I think, what was that? Are you going to play Took as your commander for Nuka-Cola?
No, it would be in the 99.
Okay.
I don't know specifically what I would do, because I think Selesnya and Simic get a lot better with Nuka-Cola, because white can tutor for artifacts and blue can tutor for artifacts. But you can do mono green and just land rotate into Inventor's Fair.
Will you get foil Cinder Vines?
Neat. People really love that card. I think it's okay.
And will you also get, it's a 4/4.
It's an anime card. That looks like an
Massacre
anime thing.
Girl.
I have never used this card ever, and I will not be using this card in the near future.
You have every excuse now. She's so kawaii. All right. I like this. I'm excited to try the Clue tie-in. Me too. Victoria says sorcery. Victoria, get ready for me to whip up a storm with my frickin' battle mage. Gosh, dude, did I make the best deck in sorcery? I think I did. Outside of player skill or player error, I should say. Spoiler alert. We recorded some gameplay. Win a lot of games, Will. And what's funny is I stepped away from sorcery for like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, and I'm like, I still think I got this. Still got it. Freaking battle mage. All right. I'm excited for sorcery too. I really like it. Nuka-Cola and Corvold. Hell yeah. Breeding pool, baby!
Hey, breeding pool!
Old border too. Look at you. You've got Prime Speaker Zagana.
I also want to say the old border shocklands without the mana symbols on them just hit different.
They really do. What is this? You have Turnabout.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's turnabout. That's just untap or tap everything of a specific type. Ooh, Mayhem Devil.
Right, right. Also for your Corvoldless Shambling Shell. Okay, okay. Oh,
No
World
good.
Guildgate foil. Silent Darts. Yes,
It's
yes,
the card
yes.
that looks
Leslie
like it should be an
Guildmage.
equipment, but it's not.
Right, so no Psych Rifts for us, sadly. Cura's whatever. Scab Clan Mauler. Okay, okay, okay. Will you have a Rootborn Defense, a Compulsive Research, and a
There we
Bird
go.
Token?
I got that Tidespout Tyrant that I'm not going to be using because I hate that
That you
art.
never wanted to use, that you never wanted to play with. Mayhem
Yeah,
Devil equals best card.
I will say,
Maybe.
at least I didn't pull the other Tidespout Tyrant art, which I'll quickly send you on Discord,
Is
because
there?
this
Well,
art is atrocious.
I'll be the judge.
If you wanna look it up, the alternate art for Tidespout Tyrant, it is so bad.
So Kawhi, you know they're going for Attack on Titan here.
I
You
know, but
know
it's
they're
still
going for Attack
so
on Titan
bad.
here. Look at this. Straight up. The old gothic ass looking building, the giant Titan like looking tide spout tyrant. It's a Jin.
Yeah, there's other animes that I feel like it fits better than Attack on Titan, because Attack on Titan goes for like the really gritty looking shadows, but this has smooth shadows. But
I enjoyed the Massacre Girl. I feel like this Massacre Girl will sell well. You've got trade value
yeah, I
here,
mean
Will.
it's supposed to be like 25 bucks, so fair. But
Really?
I hate this Tidespout Tyrant art
Dude,
so much. I I'm
waifu
waiting
tax
for
is
a
real.
I'm waiting for a good Tidespout Tyrant art. Like the Battle Bond one is fine, and I'm happy with the Battle Bond one, but I want one that I feel excited about.
25 bucks for waifu girl?
Yeah.
I've seen it all, people. So I'm used to the waifu tax in One Piece card game. I'm not used to seeing the waifu tax applied to Magic the Gathering, but there it is.
Yeah.
Front and center, full display. I'm going to close out the poll. I want to see if your thoughts and opinions align with something died. I think one of my earbuds died.
Oh no.
Shouldn't have. There should be 8 hours of battery life on these earbuds, but I'll figure it out in a second. So long as we're still streaming, we're good. But let's see here. Closed out the poll. 52% interaction, 21% better draw, 13% commander, 13% bomb. And so far as our poll was concerned earlier, it's more or less the same, except a lot more calls for better interaction on our poll here on the channel. But guys, thank you so much for joining this live stream. This is from our end of the year Untapped, the TCG Podcast live stream. I like taking these opportunities to just chat with you all. I find these to be the most fun way to cover the games outside of just gameplay. I think talking about the game really does help us all get a better sense of what works, what doesn't work. And that's why I like doing these live. So honestly, if you guys enjoyed this content, please feel free to leave this with a like so it gets sent to a similar party, someone else who would also equally like to explore the games with us. But yeah, more One Piece on Wednesdays, Sorcery on Saturdays, and of course, Friday Night Magic. We need to work in a day that gives us the opportunity to discuss Magic outside of Friday, because I do want to try to do gameplay pretty much every Friday for you guys. I really enjoy playing Commander, obviously. And if you guys enjoy playing Commander, I'll highly encourage you to join the Discord. I believe I left a link for you all in the description. So if you want to talk shop and discuss other TCGs, you're more than welcome to. We should be expanding to other TCGs in the future. I'd love to do it sooner rather than later. But right now we cover One Piece, Magic, and Sorcery. Will, any thoughts before we end this one?
Well, if we're gonna continue with our stride of alliteration, I think we might do Untapped Tuesdays. But
Untapped Tuesdays?
yeah, that's not confirmed by any means, but that
No.
might be what we go for. I don't know. We're gonna
I
probably
like
talk about
Untapped
that behind the
Tuesdays.
scenes.
I would love to do like a late night, dim the lights,
Untapped After Dark.
Untapped after dark. I would enjoy that. Waifu tax is universal. Yeah. Look up the price of Searcher Nami from OP. Look up Nami. Just look up Nami on TCG Player and look at the prices of Nami. She's a good card. She ain't that good. But damn, do people like Nami? They really do. Tuesday Talk Magic. Tuesday Talk Magic. The goal would be to discuss other TCGs too, if you guys have other interests or thoughts on other games. I'm only playing 3, so I'm only emotionally and mentally invested in 3. But I'm happy to talk Magic whenever. But guys, I enjoyed this one. Happy holidays if we don't see you again before the holidays. And of course, Happy New Year. I've enjoyed creating content again here on the channel. I just want to reiterate, it's been nice coming back from a very long hiatus to cover content that I actually care about. So thanks for participating in this. It really does mean the world for me. And Will, I appreciate you hanging out with me and talking shop and discussing Magic. I really love this game, and it's exciting that we get to continue making content with Wizards of the Coast, moving into the future and getting a little bit more insight on the sets as they release. With all the bad, there's been a lot of good. Let me just say that. And I'm excited for the new year for sure. Dr. Jiggles Magic Quibbles. Yeah, I actually have a Dr. Jiggle. I have Dr. Jiggles. Gotta make Dr. Jiggles famous. Should I just start going by Dr. Jiggles online, Will?
I like it better than the kitchen finks.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be like purely Magic the Gathering, but Dr. Jiggles is a universal one. But I personally am a fan of Dr. Jiggles Magic and Giggles.
Oh, I like that. Dr. Jiggles Magic and Giggles. There's one last thing I wanted to discuss. I really enjoyed game streaming. It gives me an excuse to play games, and I really like board and card games. So I was contemplating streaming games that incorporate card and or board game mechanics here on the channel, and just having that be a function of our sort of just chat, right? Once we get Twitch running, which I didn't want to dare try today, but once we get Twitch running, we can have a little just chat, some hot tub magic, Will, if you want to do that. But no, that's next for the channel. That's really the future of this channel, by the way.
Yeah, I think because I'm planning on trying to do a Minecraft realm for my friends at some point when the new update comes out. And I was figuring, oh yeah, Patrick can join that, and if we want to just have something playing in the background as we're discussing, Patrick can learn to play Minecraft.
Hell yeah. Well, okay, so one of the games I was contemplating, there was another one that incorporated like dice, like I was watching Game Ranks and they were talking about this game that looked really cool. The 3D, I want to say platformer, but it looked like a 3D RPG. And there's this girl who carries a D6 on her back, and you like throw the D6, and it obviously determines the outcome of conversations, of combat, of all the things you'd expect in like a D&D Pathfinder world. That looked cool, but also I have a huge collection. So other people's backlogs, on Microsoft, on their Xbox Series S or whatever, big, on their PlayStation 5 big. I have a backlog that extends to GameCube, and I've just not, I buy and collect a lot of games that I just never play through. There's this game series that I've never played through that I really enjoy, and I've started out the game series multiple times. Well, it's called Baten Kaitos, and it uses a card-based combat system that's actually really fun. What's also unique about the game is for its time, it's an RPG with voice acting throughout the whole adventure. So you get this amazing voice acting coupled with a card-based combat system that's really convoluted but fun. I was thinking it'd be fun to play through that.
It has been remastered and put onto the Switch.
I saw, but I have the originals. So I have the originals, and I also have an emulator.
Also,
Okay.
So Mateus said Dr. Jiggles may not be a safe search on Google, which, don't worry, it's going to be the username. That is not going to be the name of the channel. You're fine.
Oh, yeah. That's NSFW. Don't worry. I've seen the people parodying, aping my Dr. Jiggles for TCGs, and it's not good. It's not healthy.
I also find it so funny that your username in a lot of things is a Dr. one, and my username in a lot of things is also Dr. because I have Dr. Snarf on a lot of different games and things. It's SPO306 or Dr. Snarf on my two.
Huh. What does that say about us?
The worst. I brought this up to you before, and that is exactly what you said before as well.
Did I say that?
Yeah, word for word.
Justin is gonna be. I think he's getting his doctorate technically. Maybe I secretly want to also have a doctorate. I want to be a licensed doctor.
See, What happened with me was I in Super Smash Bros. Melee had the username SNRF because I just randomly typed in letters and that's what I got. Then I always pronounced it Snarf. Then when Brawl came out, I typed it out as Snarf with an actual A in there. And then when Smash 4 came out, I was like, well, I need to expand it again, obviously. So then I went for Dr. Snarf, but they didn't have punctuation yet, so I think I did capital D, lowercase r, capital SNARF. And then Ultimate came out, and then I put a period in there. So it's Dr. dot Snarf. So it was just the slow expanse, and I'm like, I don't know why, but freaking 11-year-old me was like, Dr.
It's too
Snarf.
awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know why. So my other name, at least for Wizards of the Coast, and it still is this. It's Dragon Lord Jippy. Don't ask me why. It was just a matter of like never. My online name for a lot of MMOs has always been Bombik. I have an uncle named Bombik. It's a Filipino thing, I guess. I'm like, that's just an awesome name. So Bombik. So I've just always used that as my name. But for whatever reason, like I just decided to go off of it and just come up with some. I just usually just use random names for whatever I'm doing. I think like my name on PSN is Super Sweet, and for everything TCG related though, it's Dr. Jiggles because I just love when they read it off when they're doing pairings for local events, and it's like Steven versus Dr. Jiggles.
Jiggles.
And I'm like, please step into my office. I hope you're prepared. I love it, man. It's so fun playing. It's so fun role playing when I get to play TCGs. But guys, thanks again for joining us on this one. I hope we've convinced you that green sucks and Wizards of the Coast do better. Make green better.
Don't worry. When Nuka-Cola comes around, hopefully it's going to get one step better.
That's right. We want more Legolas's quick reflexes. Just make more Lord of the Rings stuff. I'm sure they want to, actually. I'm fairly certain that Lord of the Rings was the best-selling Magic the Gathering set. Period. So maybe we'll get Hobbit-related stuff. How sick would that be? Oh my god.
It's only a matter of time, honestly.
I'm here for it. But guys, we'll see you next week, if not in the new year.
Yeah. See you guys around.
All right, we'll Twitch next time. It's happening. I hope.